uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. And how do we start off this show on a happy
Hump Day
edition? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. We got some breaking news. It just came from Mike Garafolo of NFL Network. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are hiring Seahawks quarterback coach Dave Canales as their new offensive coordinator. Sources say after 13 seasons as an assistant on Pete Carroll's coaching staff, Canales heads to Tampa to run the offense for Todd Bowles. So I want to know what you think, because a lot of people were disappointed in how long it took, but the Bucs were deliberate, and it looks like they got their man tonight in Canales. Of course, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Again, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Of course, my co-host coming right up right now here, Mr. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire at 1252 Chicago Sports. We'll have the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports. And, of course, Ruth, the Truth Caguias, with a big-time announcement with a new radio show on a local radio station. Without further ado, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get this guy on, my co-host right here. Here we go. The Greek himself, Mr. Harry the Greek. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And again, the breaking news of the night, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get their man, an offensive coordinator now, former Seahawks quarterback coach, and Dave Canales. Your thoughts. Welcome.
I think it's a really good pickup. Hey, Pete, how are you? Thanks for having me on tonight. Good pickup. But I will tell you this. I sincerely hope that he's able to build his own brand down here in Tampa. And I really hope that Jason Licht can do something with this cap situation, because that's the only way he's going to be able to succeed. I don't care who they brought in as an offensive coordinator. But this particular guy, even though he hasn't called any plays, is going to be very good for a young, developing Kyle Trask.
Absolutely. And I mentioned this when they interviewed him, and it made sense because the Buccaneers' tendency in this interview period, which was like 27 days and 10 candidates later, and now they got their man. But young mind, he started coaching when he was 28 years old. He's been a wide receiving coach. He's been a pass coordinator. So
he started out in high school football, didn't he?
I mean, honestly, 28 years. What were you doing at 28 years old? I know what I was trying to do at 28 years old: be on the radio, be a sports broadcaster. But I wasn't coaching an NFL football team, and I certainly wasn't under Pete Carroll, and I certainly wasn't working with Russell Wilson, and then also Geno Smith this year, who, by the way, had a turnaround campaign. People go, well, you can't give him credit. You have to give Pete Carroll credit. Yes, but he's the quarterback coach. By the way, Geno Smith this year, Pro Bowler, 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, promising.
And
And you're not a Geno Smith fan, I see.
Nah, he did a really good job with Geno Smith. Anybody that can get Geno Smith to throw 30 touchdowns in 5 years, let alone one, that's something else. Okay, it really is. I think he's going to do wonders, as I said, for Kyle Trask. And if you notice right there at the bottom lower third, it says Kyle. Keep wishing it, baby, because he's coming.
Well, I see that, and a lot of Bucs fans out there on the Kyle Trask train thinking he's going to start. I still think the Bucs will pursue a veteran. I don't necessarily think it's somebody that I think they're going to go after a big-time veteran. I don't necessarily buy this. I told you how I felt about this when the Glazers talked about how Brady and what he meant to this organization. I don't think they're going in a full rebuild. If they are, then go ahead and go with Kyle Trask. I get it. They're $55.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yes.
Why do you got to say, because they're going, Peter, I am tired of this, man. I'm so tired of hearing people saying they're full rebuild if they're going with Kyle. That's just not the case. If you think that by just going with Kyle Trask, you're in full rebuild, then you need to get rid of Godwin and Evans and Fournette and, give them all up.
They're
at
not
that
going to do
point.
that. They're not.
Okay, then they're not full rebuild.
That's my that's my point, and that's what I've heard fans say out
It's
there.
not full rebuild. Kyle Trask does not mean you're going full rebuild here.
I don't necessarily think the Bucs. This is just my opinion. I don't necessarily think they have that much confidence in him. But again, could be wrong. Never started in the NFL. Yes, thank you very much for the Coke here. I appreciate that. As I'm on here right now, yes, I'm drinking Coke. All right, let's say
I quit doing Coke about 6 months ago. I kept getting ice stuck in the straw.
This guy sucks.
All right, let's go out to the comments here. Nee says, my favorite sports broadcaster. Thanks a lot. Welcome back to the Evolution. Let's go out to Troy.
That's Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, that's what he gets right here.
This guy sucks.
Eric says, almost showtime. Yes, it is showtime. Roger says, you may be first, but I'm the best.
Acknowledge me.
Rob with the thumbs up. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Roger Shoe says, keep it quick. AEW is on. Look, I have my own schedule here. I'm sorry. I love for you to tune in. If you want to watch AEW, feel free to do that if you like.
What's AEW?
It's wrestling. We don't want to even talk about that, because if we talk about that, then you'll go off into a fetal position and won't come back. Again, we're expecting Leo Haggerty. It's true. And, of course, Ruth the Truth Caguias.
Did someone say Leo?
I did say Leo, but he has not contacted me back, so I don't know what's going on. Hopefully we can get him on. Okay, don't start.
Is that Leo?
Don't start.
That's good enough to suck right there.
Don't start. Don't start with this. All right, I think another 10 years of no playoffs. Let's go ahead and address that. No, 10 years and no playoffs. So why do people not have that much confidence in the Glazers, in Jason Light? I get it. Again, and let me go full screen, because I got to get something off my chest.
I thought you were asking a question. But
well, I'm going to go ahead and go back to a question. But this whole cap situation, it's kind of overblown, if you will. I mean, honestly, the Saints have been in cap hell for the last 5 years, and yet they're able to compete. So again, I'm not a capologist. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't think the Bucs have a plan, because they do have a plan. And if they want to be competitive, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to do anything and everything that's possible to make that happen, whether it means cutting veterans like a Donovan Smith, which has been talked about, $15 to $18 million, cutting a Leonard Fournette, cutting a Ryan Suckup, restructuring deals. It's not the end-all, be-all, okay? For me, the salary cap is like the national debt, right? We're always talking about it, but yet it never affects anything. That's what the salary cap is to me and the National Football League. With that being said, I tell you what, let's go out to the 3 shot in a moment. Well, let's get this guy on. Here we go. Former Coach Scout and now media member of Amped Up Sports Night Sports Productions, Mr. Leo Haggerty. Welcome to the Evolution. And we got to start out with this breaking news. Dave Canales, 41 years old, former quarterback coach of the Seattle Seahawks, now tabbed as the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Your thoughts? Welcome to the Sports Web.
Why would you leave Seattle? That's got to be the big question. You just developed a quarterback who looks like he's going to be around for a while. Now you're going to a place where doesn't even have a quarterback. So, yeah, we won't know if it's a good hire until probably week 8, 9, or 10.
Hold on a minute now. You just went blasphemous here on the Sports Web, because the follower of Harry the Greek feels like Kyle Trask is the next coming. Go ahead and explain yourself. You're not so confident in Kyle Trask. Why not? Why wouldn't they bring in a young coach to develop a Kyle Trask? Is that the plan here? Is that the reason why the Bucs have interviewed so many young candidates? People would say, why not Eric Bieniemy, who's received 16 or 17 interviews and still has not gotten not only an offensive coordinator job, but a head coaching job? Why a young candidate like Canales?
Well, let's put 2 and 2 together. The Seahawks trade away Russell Wilson, and this guy Canales makes an all-pro out of a guy from the junk heap, so to speak.
Right.
So, again, maybe he can do the same magic with Kyle Trask. But, again, Peter, you and I know the quarterback that starts for the Buccaneers in 2023, he's not on the roster yet.
I don't think he's on the roster either. And Harry keeps on trying to convince me. There's a lot of fans out there that try to convince me of that. And some of the names that have been thrown out there. Let me just throw this out there. This is from Greg Allman of The Athletic. As the Bucs eye veteran quarterback to pair with Kyle Trask, one new and inexpensive option that makes sense with Canales on board as the offensive coordinator is Seahawk backup Drew Lock, who is a free agent. Harry, Drew Lock, you buying that one?
Oh, no. I'd rather see Josh Rosen before I see Drew Lock up in Tampa Bay. Are you out of your ever-loving tree? First off, Leo, how are you, my brother?
Hey, I'm eating my first meals, guys. I had a little chicken soup tonight. I had some pork loin.
Yeah.
And I had some French toast this morning. So we're getting there. I'm 174 pounds, dripping wet. So,
well, there you go. Well, you're doing well, man. You're fighting this. Of course, if you don't know here, this guy's a warrior. He's fighting cancer, throat cancer, and he's over.
Not fighting it, Peter. Beat it.
Beat
Let's
it.
get it straight.
That's it. Beat it. Yes, beat it. One of my favorite songs.
Did you have to say beat it?
Okay, I'm going to tell you.
One takes it one way, and he takes it the other way.
I know you would say that, Harry the Greek.
Just beat it.
All right, so not Drew Lock. Leo, what about for you? Drew Lock, I mean, he's a young option here. I mean, Leo, you like Drew Lock?
As a what? That's the question. That's the question.
Right.
Are you bringing him in as a backup? Are you bringing him as a starter?
Right.
Again, if the Bucs do not pursue just to find out where they stand with Garoppolo and just the Raiders just cut to Derek Carr loose. You got to at least explore that, because if you think you are still in the running to get to the Super Bowl, Kyle Trask isn't getting you there. And again, nothing against Kyle Trask, but not a lot of rookies get there.
You too shall repent.
Well, I'm going to tell you.
You too shall repent. He shall forgive you and free you of your sins. Just pray to our Kyle.
Listen, now I've been told that I'm out of my mind for thinking this, because the Bucs supposedly are in cap hell, which again, $55 million.
They are. They're in cap hell, Pete.
Right. But
Leo is right, though. I mean, if this team really has plans on going to the Super Bowl, we do need to get an outside quarterback. I am having a lot of fun with the Kyle Trask thing. Nobody knows what he can say. So anybody that says this guy can't get you there, you don't know, because we don't know what we have in him yet. Nobody knows. Okay. And I don't want to hear, well, we're going to see what's behind door number 2. They were looking behind door number 2 when they had Tom Brady. Okay.
Well, that
everybody's
was
always
last week at Radio Row saying, listen, we love Kyle Trask, but we want to look behind door number 2.
Listen.
And I put this post up there. That doesn't instill confidence in me. You know, I think, a franchise quarterback is like a relationship, right? You got to commit to it. It's a long-term thing. You got to build around them. You got to make sure it's successful. And I don't think the Bucs have done that enough. They haven't showed me enough that they have confidence. So when somebody comes out and says, we love Kyle Trask, but we want to see what's behind door number 2.
That's not, that's not the way it was said, Pete. You're reading it your way.
No,
I don't believe that he meant it that way. Peter, listen, I love you, man. I love everybody in every part of the shows and everything else, but we've got to stop this nonsense about. See, you like how I threw the nonsense thing in there?
Really nice.
We got to stop the nonsense when it comes to interpreting. I mean, if you read the Bible, and I'm not trying to get religious, okay, and they have the original, the Old Testament, and then you have the New Testament, and then there's a paraphrase version. So when I say something, okay, and you read it again, you can read it and make it sound something totally different. I don't believe for a second that's what he meant by that.
Well,
that would make them look stupid because they drafted the kid.
With that being said, and again, I keep on going back to this, if they thought, and I go back to this example, right? And maybe it's a tough example, but Alex Smith went to the Kansas City Chiefs. He led them to the playoffs, right? They drafted Patrick Mahomes top 10. Now, Kyle Trask is still a premium pick. They had Alex Smith lead them to the playoffs, but they said, you know what? He's going to be our franchise quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. We're going to trade Alex Smith away. We're going to go with him. if they wanted to go with Kyle Trask for the future, they could have easily said, you know what? We're going to move on without Tom Brady. Let Brady go to the Dolphins. Let him go to another team. I get it. He gives you the best opportunity to win. But what I'm looking at here, Leo, is if he is your future franchise quarterback, you go with him. And I haven't seen that action by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Furthermore,
and Peter, you won't, because there's not enough of a sample size yet on Kyle Trask.
right.
Yeah, that's the Bucs' fault. They decided not to play him and decided to play the 45-year-old guy when you could see they were in deep doo-doo on offense.
Right.
That he had to throw it 66 times because they wouldn't run the ball for whatever reason. But
right.
when you look at the Buccaneers, okay, when you look at what they're doing, they got to beat 3 teams. They got to beat New Orleans. They got to beat Carolina. They got to beat Atlanta. That gets you to the playoffs. That's the bottom line. Step 1, get to playing January football. That's the key. And again, if Derek Carr goes to New Orleans, man, you better make a move for Garoppolo.
Well, and I agree with you. And Greg Allman also had this to say: we don't know what Carr wants because everybody was assuming that it was $40 million because, of course, the Raiders cut him. And you heard that on this show where I thought that Carr was going to be cut. He was not going to be traded because why would he help out the Raiders who basically sent him home after Christmas? We don't know what Carr wants. Bucs could fashion a deal with low cap hit this year. Let's say he wants 4 years and $150 million, half guaranteed. He gets a minimum of $1.2 million base salary, $50 million bonus this year. Add 2 more years. His 2023 cap number is just $9.5 million. It's viable. Harry, your thoughts?
Go to Leo.
Okay, go ahead, Leo.
Hey, you know what, Peter? It's almost like the shell game now with the salary cap.
Sure.
You know, how does it work? What is it doing? And again, if you agree to make this friendly for the Bucs, you will take a very large signing bonus because you can space that out over the length of the contract. You will take a minuscule, there's the SAT word of the day.
Very nice. Very nice.
A minuscule contract the first year or two, and you're going to backload everything because and the Bucs know it's never going to get there. Teams just did. That's why they backload all that money. And again, we talk about Mark Dominic, but what Mark Dominic did is he said, and they got this right, the guaranteed money comes out right away. That's why you're seeing a lot of teams, they're cutting people, but it's not guaranteed money, so it's not a cap hit.
Let me ask you this, because I asked both of you wrong with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, 1252 Chicago Sports, the legend himself, Mr. Leo Haggerty, of course, of Amped Up Sports and Night Sports Productions. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. I keep on going back to this. Do you feel like the Bucs are going to be in a rebuild or more of a reload like Todd Bowles is talking about? Because I continue to go back to this as people in the background are just losing their mind. The show is crazy in the family. They want Kyle Trask. She's losing her mind in the background. But with that being said,
no, they're a smart family.
Shut up. Listen.
We should ask the dog what he thinks.
I'll tell you right now.
Kyle. Kyle.
Listen.
You know what? Hey, I just heard the dog. You know what he said? If Kyle Trask starts, it's going to be rough.
Well, that's what I'm there. Whoa, there you go. Thank you. With that being said, do you sense a rebuild by this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, or do you think they're reloading? Because a lot of people have said they're going to be rebuilding. The sky's falling. They're in cap hell. You've been in a front office before. You've been a scout. You've been a coach. Once again, how does an NFL team handle this, and how do you think the Bucs go into 2023 and these next couple of weeks when free agency starts?
You know what, guys? I'm going to throw out 2 things. If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, or we even know who Tom Brady is.
Nope.
He walks in sight unseen and manages to get them to the playoffs. Bledsoe comes back, they beat Pittsburgh, and then Brady comes back and wins the Super Bowl. And again, now they got to make a decision. They do that. Kyle Purdy. I mean, he gets San Francisco to the NFC Championship game. Can Kyle Trask get the Bucs to the playoffs?
Nobody knows.
We don't know that. Again, everybody says, well, all he's got to do is manage. Guys, take that word right out of your vocabulary when it comes to an NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
NFL quarterbacks have to make plays. Now, he
Oh,
doesn't.
hold on. Brock Purdy, you're going to tell me he didn't manage the game? That looked about as conservative as I ever seen. Against Tampa Bay, there wasn't anything flashy or lighting it up.
It's not that he didn't manage the game, but he made plays that he could make. And
Right.
again, I am not a real Kyle Shanahan proponent, but what he did was he simplified the offense so that Purdy could make plays. Will the Bucs have to simplify the offense to Trask? Yeah. But the bottom line is, look what Purdy did. He turned around and gave it to McCaffrey. What a smart move.
Well, yeah.
If the Bucs quarterback, who may be Trask, turns around and gives it to Fournette or gives it to White, that's a smart move because now you're extending the time that the other team's offense is on the sideline. That's
correct. And that was my whole point. And this is what I've been clamoring for all year long. If you have a running game, which, by the way, people, I don't know if you knew this or not, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 2 running backs with extremely low mileage. If it was a used car lot, these used cars would cost more than new cars. That's how little miles that they have on them. Defenses that play against the Buccaneers, Leo, I have preached this on and on and on again. I'll implore you to, and I beg you, watch tape on any game you want past Game 5 of this past year, and you won't see one secondary, corner, anything peeking into the backfield. Nobody bites on the play action pass from Tampa Bay. But I promise you this offensive coordinator, it'll be a run-first mentality. And I don't care who's playing quarterback in this team. When you got a running game like that and you have those wide receivers, it makes it a lot better.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I go back to this, right? I mean, you had beast mode and Marshawn Lynch. You had a running game there. It took the pressure off of Russ Wilson. And then also you had a defense. So is that what Todd Bowles and the Buccaneers are banking on, Leo, to have that balance finally to their offense with the running game, with the hiring of Canales?
Dear God, just look at what Philadelphia did. Philadelphia had the most rushing TDs in the history of the NFL. And again, they run the football.
Mm-hmm.
Basically because they have a mammoth offensive line. Secondly, it keeps the other offense off the field.
Yes.
And the play action works if you commit to the run.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't commit to the run, and again, there's no threat with Brady running the ball. So there was no play action because Brady couldn't take the chance of faking. And if somebody doesn't bite on it, and you know those edge rushers weren't going to bite on a run because the Bucs just don't do it enough, then he's getting hit. And he didn't like that. Not one iota.
Definitely.
I fully agree. That's why I think this offense coming up is going to be much more balanced, no matter who's playing quarterback. But I will tell you this, Leo. I don't honestly think that Tampa's going to go out there and make a big splash at a quarterback. I just don't. And I'm so tired of hearing people say, they're going to rebuild because of it. No, man. I never believed in the word retooling. I believe truly in my heart their quarterback is on this roster. If they can upgrade it and not cost them players or hardship and just a bad morale, around the clubhouse because people are going to be making less money because they have to restructure deals. Because trust me, man, that could be a problem. I mean, nobody likes to have their pay messed with. If you're in your year 3 of your contract and you got a 4-year contract and you're being asked to go ahead and restructure it, I don't think they're doing it for a Kyle Trask, man. They may do it for a Tom Brady. Go ahead, Peter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's go out to the phone lines here. Let's go out to the tribal troll, Mr. Roger Shu. You're on with yours truly, along with Leo Haggerty, and of course, Harry the Greek. What do you have to say, my friend?
Good evening. Great conversation, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. I just want the official opinion in the Berg household. Who does Mrs. Greek want as QB for the Buccaneers?
Mrs. Greek would like somebody that can actually get this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team to start going again. She hasn't really voiced her opinion. That's a great question, Roger. But a lot of people don't realize this. My wife breaks film down with me, and she really knows a lot about defenses and things like that. And she even thinks that this team needs to be more balanced. I hear a lot of people talking about Baker Mayfield. I don't think you really want to bring Baker Mayfield here, because inside reports are stating right now that, you ready for this, Peter? Allegedly, he's got a pretty bad drinking problem. I don't know if people knew that or not.
Baker.
Hey, Harry, if you played for Cleveland, you'd have had a drinking problem too, wouldn't you?
I think they fans have a
what do they call Cleveland? Anybody want to take a guess? The mistake. It's the mistake by the lake. The other mistake is Gary, Indiana. That's right next to Chicago.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
All right, Roger, what else?
Peter, your opinion. Who do you want as QB? You talking Derek Carr?
I'm talking. I've said Derek Carr. I've said Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, if we're taking the Glazers in their comments or at their comments, they said, look, when Tom Brady comes to this organization, it's going to rub off on it. We're going to continue to win. We're going to continue to be competitive. I feel, in my opinion, that Kyle Trask is not going to make you competitive. I feel like it's going to make you rebuild. I think you have to go after the best quarterbacks out there. If Derek Carr is the guy, go for it. If Jimmy Garoppolo is the guy, go for it. After that, then you're taking your chances. But I feel like
what money are you going to give it to him? You're $55 million over the cap.
Like I said,
this is not $5 million, Pete. This is not 50. 50. Hang on, $55 million. Isn't that the year they won the Super Bowl?
Again, we're going to sit here and act like they can't push this money down the road if they want to be competitive. They can. The Saints have done it. The Saints are in the conversation of getting Derek Carr. If they want to do it, they can do it over there. They can cut Donovan Smith. They can cut Leonard Fournette. They can make restructures with Chris Godwin's contract.
And Mike Evans goes to the Bears.
Mike Evans is not going to go to the Bears because Mike Evans is a $21 million cap hit. He's not going. If anything, they will sign him to an extension to lower his number this year to free up money in the next couple of years. What else?
That'll make him want to play. Let's renegotiate his contract again.
Absolutely, he deserves it. Mike Evans is a legend in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history. 9 consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He can
be a legend in Chicago.
He's not going to be a legend in Chicago.
Okay, so they cut all these players. Okay, yes. Peter, I'm going to ask. I don't want to ask you this question. I'm going to ask Leo this question.
You ask me this question, I'll tell you this right now. Everybody putting up in arms, you're cutting all these players. This was an 8-win team. You need to cut some of these players. They underachieved. It's time to retool, go draft, get younger, get some free agents, free up some money, and go get your damn quarterback. Now you can ask Leo.
Okay, so before I ask Leo the question, so you want to blame these players for the reason why they're an 8-win team, and that's why you want to cut them?
It is.
Horse caca. This is a team that won 8 games. This is a team that won 8 games because they didn't have an offensive line, Pete.
Okay, but that's on the players. So Donovan Smith, goodbye. See you later. $18 million. Hit the road, Jack. You're done. Either restructure your deal or get the hell out of here. You underachieved. That's one of the players.
And Tom Brady underachieved. Let's throw that one out there.
Okay, but everybody's saying Tom Brady achieved. Tom Brady's no longer a part of this organization. Turn the page. If this is all about the team underachieved. All these free agents, Todd Bowles, Jason Light are going to decide.
Hey, guys, why are we shocked that this was an 8-9 team when we saw in the beginning of the year when Ryan Jensen went down, they had to replace a center and both guards. Name me any team that was in the playoffs other than the Bucs that had to replace 3/5 of their offensive line.
And that is the thing that you have to be positive about here, Leo, because you're going to get Ryan Jensen back. You're probably going to have a new left guard. You're probably going to have a new left tackle. You're going to retool that offensive line. You still have Shaq Mason. You still have Tristan Wirfs. You have everybody coming back. And plus, if you get younger at quarterback, more than likely, they're going to be more mobile. So that's what I'm looking at the end of the day. I think they may be actually better because they won't have the distractions like Harry is talking about with Tom Brady.
Now, Mrs. Berg Mrs. Greek is making fun of me. She goes, horse caca, Harry?
Yeah,
really?
Exactly.
That was really good.
Peter, real quick.
Yes, Rob.
Acknowledge me.
I have Leo, and I can't curse.
Before last season started, that the Bucs would be an 8-9 team. Did I or did I not tell you that before the season started?
I'll acknowledge this right here.
That's great enough to suck right there.
See you later, Tribal Troll. Thanks a lot for the call. Use that second call if you want to.
I had a question for Harry.
Yes, go.
I mean, for Leo. I'm sorry, Mr. Haggerty. Your opinion. Who did the Bucs get for QB?
I think he's not on the roster yet. I think if they didn't do their due diligence for Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo. And again, they got to look at everything, because I don't think they want to go into the season with a quarterback who has taken maybe 5 snaps. That's just not what you really want to do.
Exactly.
So,
If they go with Jimmy Garoppolo, Leo, you might as well go with Kyle Trask, because by game 5, Garoppolo will be on the IR.
That's certainly possible.
Yeah.
He's not been able to stay healthy the last 2 years. Roger, thanks a lot for the call. Let me go
Thank
ahead
you guys.
and
Have a great night. Great show, guys.
thank you,
They
sir.
can't
Appreciate
afford
it.
him, guys.
you know what? But you know what, guys?
Yes.
Let's talk about distractions.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a great Super Bowl game until the last minute and 48 when that penalty was called.
Mhm.
Now, Tony Dungy came out and said it was a penalty. Was it a penalty? Yes. But that happens every play in an NFL game. If you call that every time it happened, you'd have 20 holding penalties in a 4-hour game. You don't want that. The NFL needs to take a page from the NBA with their officiating. At the end of the game, you swallow your whistle unless it's egregious. Was that egregious? Wasn't
No.
even close.
I have a theory, Leo. First off, you're right. They never should have did it. My theory is this. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
The ref had 20 dimes in the second half on Kansas City.
That's certainly
Well,
possible.
you know what, Harry? It wouldn't surprise me. But I'll
It's
tell
not
you
surprising me.
what, I am so glad Bradbury came out and said, yeah, I held him. Because if he had come out and said,
That's
"No,
the
I didn't,"
NFL. That's the NFL making him say
absolutely,
that.
because the city of Philadelphia would have erupted, because they stole what could have been the greatest ending to a Super Bowl. Because if he kicks the field goal 148, you're giving the Eagles the ball with 148.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that. Question,
Yes.
gentlemen.
Yes.
The more I look at that Cincinnati, Kansas City game,
Mm-hmm.
the more I think, boy, did Mahomes embellish that hit on the sideline? All
Absolutely.
the guy did was put his hands out
Right.
in front of him, doesn't even shove him, and man, here comes the laundry out, and that's
You
the
ready?
game.
And the
Well,
Emmy Award goes to
right.
Patrick Mahomes.
Well, there you go. Absolutely. Give him the drum roll, because you're exactly right, Leo. He did a LeBron. He did a Karl Malone. Going back there, Google it if you don't know who that is, because it's one of the biggest floppers in NBA history. LeBron followed it and was absolutely a flop. But, you know, at the end of the day, as a player, you can't put your hands on the quarterback. You can't sneeze to the quarterback.
And how about the best play of the Super Bowl was the Kansas City running back falling down on the 1-yard line, because he wanted them to score.
Right.
He wanted them to score.
That's a.
Yeah, you could hear the people in the stands going, slide, slide.
Yeah.
Well, you heard the people that actually had prop bets out there that McKinnon was going to score a touchdown or go over a certain amount of yardage to get in there. So they must have been sick to their stomach. Let's talk about that Super Bowl. Harry was very critical, my co-host, of Jalen Hurts because of the fumble. But besides that fumble, which again was a critical play and a momentum changing play for the Eagles, because at that point they were dominating the Kansas City Chiefs. Leo, give me your analysis on Jalen Hurts. In your opinion, is he the guy? Does he deserve an extension? And if they can replace those coordinators, which they lost not only their offense but defensive coordinator, can they be back there in the next couple of years?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough coming back next year with an new offensive and defensive coordinator. But what Jalen Hurts proved in the Super Bowl is that he's the real deal.
Right.
And again, he threw dimes all over the place. You don't see a whole lot of quarterbacks put the ball right where it needed to be. And again, name me a quarterback other than that guy up in Buffalo who on a 2-point play would run a quarterback power sweep and get in. I mean, just it was crazy. But I'll tell you what, guys, the reason they had so much trouble with the field, and no one figured this out, the NFL makes you put a new field down 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. They put a new field down, and if you watch, the field rolls out of the dome. It rolls out and sits in the sun. Guess what happened for a week? It rained every single day in Phoenix. Never do they get rain in February. That field was a quagmire. It was a mess. And I mean, Matt Leola came out and said it was like playing in a water park. How many times have you seen teams change spikes as often as they did? And you know what, Peter? I said on your show, don't be surprised if one of these quarterbacks don't get hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the problem. And I tell you right now, they were very fortunate there with Patrick Mahomes because, guys, when he got hit right before halftime, I thought he was finished. And I think what set the tone was not only his halftime speech firing his team up because they had a lackadaisical effort, but on top of it, him coming out that first drive and saying, you know what, whatever they gave him, he looked healthy. He was still mobile. He was able to make things happen because I thought he was finished for the game.
I don't think there's any doubt that we know that Patrick can handle Novocaine.
Oh no, absolutely. He got more juice in that arm than a heroin addict sitting on the south side of St.
Yeah,
Pete. Are you kidding me?
This guy.
That ankle was, and again, everybody says, "Well, that's dirty football." You go for it. No, that's football. The Eagles knew to go at the ankle. The Chiefs knew to go at the shoulder. That's the way it is.
All right, Leo, I am so glad you brought that up. So let me flip the
script.
switch here. Let me flip the script. Bring us back to 3-screen because I like watching.
I
like talking right at Leo.
Okay, talk at him.
All right, Leo. That was a wonderful game that he played. It was just so good. I'd love to have a starting quarterback that threw dimes for, I don't know, he passed for 200 yards. Okay, great. Leo scores 14-7. It's just before halftime. They're at midfield. He fumbles the ball completely. Was not hurried. It was a scoop and touchdown. Hold on. Now, instead of being 21-7, it is 14-14. And let's go back to when you and I were talking about what the key to the Super Bowl was. If you recall, the only way for Kansas City to be involved in this game was that they had to be able to run the football and play the center of the field and stay away from the corners. If Philadelphia does not Philadelphia, what the hell is his name again? My brain just flew.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Doesn't just vomit the football up.
Right.
And give up 6 the other way. Are we even talking about a Kansas City win? No, I don't believe we are, because now they're going to have Tampa Bay disease and they're going to have to throw the ball 60 times in the second half. And now you're going right into the jaws and the teeth of that Philadelphia defense. So for those reasons, for all the good that Jalen Hurts did in that game, it was that one buffoon play that cost the team the Super Bowl. It wasn't the flag at the very end. It was the scoop and poop, as I call it, for what happened. Now, is Jalen the quarterback for that team? You know what? For Tampa fans, make sure he stays there because he's not taking them to the promised land anytime soon. That's just my opinion.
Well, and I will say this, you're not anywhere without Jalen Hurts. You're not in that game because of the type of game that he had leading that team, not only in rushing, but also
and that's a very harsh objective, an objective that I have for Jalen Hurts.
You're very critical and not looking at that defense, who, by the way, Leo, comes into it with the matchup advantage. 80 sacks, including the postseason. They're supposed to get after Patrick Mahomes. They're not able to do it. They have 0 sacks in the game. Credit to where credit is due. That Chiefs offensive line did a great job, but your defense has to step up. And then on top of it, you can't have all those coverage breakdowns. I thought I was watching.
Peter, you bring up the coverage.
So what's your opinion on what I said, Leo, before you go back to Peter?
You bring up the coverage breakdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid and his staff did a phenomenal coaching job in the second half. What they did, they showed all year that motion guy going from right to left or left to right through the formation. They stopped him. We used to call it Polish motion. You go and come back.
Okay.
They saw on film that the Eagles bumped the receiver. When they saw that happening, they waited till the second half. They scored with Tony on one. They go to the running back on the other, same thing. And again, people are saying, well, they got outcoached. No, the Eagles couldn't adjust, because I can tell you what it's like on a sideline, Peter. If you don't make the adjustment at halftime, if you're trying to do it there, and the Eagles went 3 and out, I think, and they're going back in and they don't know what happened, they're trying to relay it. they have to change their entire scheme. It's not going to happen. That was a great coaching move by the Chiefs. They caught on film what the Eagles were doing, and they took advantage of it twice, 14 points.
But Leo, they just stayed with the game plan that they had in the first half, and you never really gave a rebuttal to what I was explaining. And I'm not trying to be ignorant when I'm saying this. You and I both watched the same game. You've been a scout. You know this game inside and out. You're going to forget more about this game than most people are ever going to learn in a lifetime. You and I talked about this. They had to run the football. They never had. The difference is that Kansas City never had to get out of their game plan. And if you remember in the first half, they were getting after Patrick Mahomes. They were giving him fits. Let me remind everybody here about such a great game plan. It wasn't Patrick Mahomes that turned around. That was the game plan that took care of it. Pat Mahomes didn't even throw for 200 yards in this game.
182. All right, guys, I tell you what.
And that's wonderful.
And you know what? You know what, guys? The biggest surprise I had was the lack of sacks on both sides of the ball. And that's because the defensive linemen had no footing.
They ran the ball.
Falling all over the place. And
all
again, right. The Eagles had none. The Chiefs had two because they ran Hurts out of bounds a yard from the line of scrimmage, so they got credit for 2 sacks. But again, the biggest disappointment I have, and again, Harry, you're right. That turnover was huge. That was big. But the fact that the field was so bad for a Super Bowl, and again, the NFL is kind of got a little egg on its face again for 2 really bad referees' decision. Again, Goodell comes out and said, "I don't think our officiating has ever been better." Well, guess what? You're gonna have to eat those words.
Harry, Peter, I know you want to get to Ed. I just really have to ask this one question. Yeah, Ed's not going anywhere, I promise.
All right.
But Leo, this is the point I really need from you. If that turnover doesn't happen in that game, does that force Kansas City to change their offensive game plan?
Eagles scored on the next possession. Yeah. Harry, I got a better one for you. You know what happened the play before the fumble? They have 3rd and about 6 inches.
I remember.
They call, I think it was Dickerson, for a false start. So now instead of 3rd and that sneak that they're going to run with the rugby scrum,
which is going to work,
it becomes back. And again, the funny thing was on the next series, they ran the exact same play and Hurts found the right hole. It looked like the line thought he was going right and he went left. So,
and this is the point I'm going to make to everybody out there. So you see the play that created what turned the whole dynamic of the game around. It was the one play, but yet 1 or 2 people get all the entire credit. And that's what drives me absolutely crazy. It was a great game plan by Kansas City, and they got lucky. And I'll tell you this, in gambling, I'd rather be lucky than good any day of the week. And you know what? The best team doesn't always win. But please, I've got to have the bandwagoners stop with this BS that Philadelphia's quarterback is the second coming of Christ. You don't fumble the ball like that on the biggest stage.
But to that point, for a guy that's
not even hit, Peter. Hang on, oops!
I get it. It happens, and he'll learn from it, and he may get motivated like Patrick Mahomes was a couple years ago after he lost to the Bucs. Let's go out to the phone lines here.
Thank you,
Ed,
for being patient. Hi, Ed.
Absolutely, Ed. Welcome to the Evolution. Yes.
No problem. I just started watching the show. I've been working late tonight. They got a new OC.
Correct.
What do you guys think of him? And what does he bring? And what kind of quarterback do you think he's going to want?
Well, I'll tell you right now, we don't know what kind of quarterback he's going to want. Shut up, Harry. Listen, we don't know what kind of quarterback he's going to want. What kind of quarterbacks he worked with in the Russell Wilson and, of course, the Geno Smith, who he turned around last year into the comeback player of the year. 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Kyle Trask right now is the only quarterback on the roster. Now, will the Bucs pursue somebody else like a Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield, even a Lock, Drew Lock has been mentioned. I mean, there's plenty of quarterbacks. As crazy as it sounds, I'm just going to mention the name. Jameis Winston could be cut by the Saints. Is that a possibility? I think anything's a possibility. I've got to bring it up.
How are they going to spend $30 million on a quarterback when they don't have the money?
Because again,
if everybody wants to play Wish,
again,
you want to play the wishing game, look up in the stars and say, can Aaron Rodgers come to Tampa?
Harry, it's not a wish. It's the fact that they know how to manipulate the cap. The Saints know how to manipulate the cap. So to answer your question, Canales has been coaching since he was 28 years old. He's been 13 years, not only as a quarterback coach, a wide receiving coach, and also a pass game coordinator. The concern is, for a lot of Bucs fans, is he doesn't have the experience in calling plays. But again, the Bucs have done this exhaustive search, which has taken them 27 days. So we'll see what happens at the end of it.
And the Saints aren't $55 million over the cap either.
Right. But no, they're 57. They're worse. They have a worse division than the Bucs.
Gentlemen, I'm going to have to call it a night. As you can tell, my voice is starting to go.
Really bad.
And the next
we love you, Leo.
Peter, I'm not going to be available because I'm going to be out at the last home game for the USF men on the 22nd, and then March 1st for the women.
All right, my friend. Leo Haggerty, thanks a lot for your time. Appreciate you.
Bon voyage, Leo.
All
we
right,
love you, brother.
Good stuff. All right, Ed, go ahead and finish up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So, take care, Leo. Good seeing you. So, anyways, yeah, I mean, he keeps bringing up the Saints. The Saints are over every year too, my friend, and they find a way to get it down. And they grab some free agents, draft some players, and they're building their team. They're in a rebuild mode.
Well, I mean, everybody keeps on saying rebuild, but if you're going to rebuild, you're going to trade players, you're cutting salaries, you're doing this, you're doing that. I don't see that happening right now with this team. I still think this ownership believes that they can be competitive, that they can win this division. It's a winnable division. The Bucs won it with 8 games. Does that not necessarily mean that Carolina is going to improve? Of course they're going to improve. Does it not necessarily mean the Saints are going to improve? Of course the Saints are going to improve, and Atlanta is going to be improved. But at the end of the day, the Bucs feel like they have the roster to win this division.
You serious? Are you serious? We need Rodgers?
I mean, he can put anything he wants to. That's Harry the Greek right there.
We need Rodgers now. Hang on.
Is he being funny?
I don't think.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to happen. I think he'll go.
Cost the Bucs more than Derek Carr.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, if you're going to dream big. Here's the new one. Can we bring him back?
I mean, again, you're just thinking that
we need Doug Williams now.
This team is going to be in cap hell for the rest of their lives, and people just don't understand it, and they're not keeping in mind that if the Glazers want to spend the money, they will spend the money. They will. I mean, these owners saying, well, we don't have any money. Well, wait a minute. You had Brady how many years? How much money do you think this team made? Seriously. All right.
They made a ton of money off of Brady.
There you go. All right, Ed, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you as always. Ray, I see you calling. I got to get her on here. Our next guest.
What about Ray?
Well, Ray is not called in yet, so Ray hopped the call back in. But we have to go out to this guest right here. Welcome to the Evolution. Ruth the Truth Caguias. Lots of things going on. I want to start out with this announcement. You're going to have a show. Yes, say hi to Harry the Greek here.
Hi, Harry.
All right. You're going to have a show on Sunday morning. What station is it going to be on? Welcome to the Sports Web.
Yeah, good to be here, gentlemen. Thank you for waiting for me. Super excited to announce I'll be on 102.5 The Bone with Cox Media Group. You guys tune in Sunday at 11 to 12. I'll be having Jazz Animal Arteaga on the show. She's a local boxer. I just saw her fight in Kissimmee about a month ago, and she kicked some tail. So I'm excited to get her in the studio to talk about her journey and her next fight, which will be a title match. She's really up and coming in Tampa, and she's a good friend of mine, so she'll be joining me. But yeah, I'm excited for this.
Well, you should be excited for it because you worked very hard for it. So horns.
Congratulations, Ruth.
Thank
Ruth
you.
is on 102.5 The Bone.
That's Real Raw Radio, and I heard a rumor that the host of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television may make an appearance on there on Sunday morning. What's going on?
I don't see why not. I don't know if it'll be this Sunday, but
yes,
there's going to be plenty of Sundays to come. And when the Bucs season starts, I'm going to need some help in the studio for some pregame Bucs talk. So of course I'll be having you on, Peter. Super excited for what's to come on the Bone.
Oh, absolutely. All right. I got to ask you because the breaking news, and I saw you, Ray, call in. Just wait up. We'll get you back on here on the Sports Web, and Harry's doing his thing. Let me bring him back in here as I'm producing on the run. The breaking news, Dave Canales the former quarterback coach of the Seattle Seahawks, has been hired. Your thoughts? They went young here. Here is, a coach who's never called plays in the National Football League, but it certainly seems like they did an exhaustive search here the last month.
My thoughts on his hire is I was surprised to hear it. I thought the Bucs were going to take a little bit more time, maybe in the interview process, to get the right fit, because at the quarterback position, which is running the offense, there's still a lot of questions on who's going to be filling in that blank. So I thought the Bucs were going to be a little more patient when it came to making a decision. But with the hire, I mean, Gino was like comeback player of the year. I mean, he played really well. He astounded the world. So I think that this could be a real positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely a positive thing here. I'm going to come back to Harry because, and I'll throw this out there, seeing as we're talking about potential quarterbacks. Harry, do you think there's some potential there that Seattle may let Geno Smith test the market, and possibly because of the connections with this new offensive coordinator, that Geno Smith could be in a Bucs uniform? Just saying.
Sure, why not? I mean, everybody else has been allocated to come down here. Let's forget the fact we're $55 million over the cap, but that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, I'm just saying they can make money if they want to make money and restructure deals.
But you know what? Geno would come cheap. I can honestly tell you that he would come cheap.
And Tampa is really a lot more better to play than Seattle, I think.
Well, yeah, especially with these wide receivers and the running backs, and the running game that Tampa's going to have now. Look, the dream of an Aaron Rodgers, the dream of, Derek Carr, it's going to cost too much money, Ruth. You want to bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, great. You might as well just make Kyle Trask the starter, because Jimmy Garoppolo will be injured by week 5. Okay, well, he's going to be on the IR. Just like he is every single year.
Look, there's a risk to it, but again, it's going to be up to the Bucs and see what they do. Let's look at some other quarterback candidates besides the ones we talked about tonight. Jacoby Brissett, 12-6, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, came in for the Cleveland Browns, 48 touchdowns in his career, 23 interceptions. Ruth, what do you think of a selection like that for the Bucs? He's not going to cost you a lot of money. He's a mid quarterback. He can manage the game. Is that somebody you think Todd Bowles and the Bucs would be interested in your opinion? Would you be interested in a Jacoby Brissett being?
I wouldn't say that I'm exactly interested in Jacoby Brissett, but it's not something that I would be opposed to. If it was my selection, I would love to get a quarterback with some veteran experience like Derek Carr. I know that with Josh McDaniels, he didn't have much success last year, but he still made Devontae Adams one of the highest played wide receivers, last season. So Derek Carr is definitely somebody I've been keeping an eye on. But as Harry had mentioned, it would be a lot of restructuring to make that a possibility. But I think Derek really wants to get the heck out of Las Vegas. So I think anywhere that's suitable with a team with like a decent defense and, Ryan Jensen coming back and Tristan Wirth, like on a pretty good offensive line, I think that's something that might be appealing to Mr. Derek Carr. That's just wishful thinking.
Great point.
See,
that's a great point.
Great minds think alike here, Ruth. I'm thinking the same thing with Derek Carr. Who's like, you're obsessed with Derek Carr. Look, I want the best quarterback that's out there. Okay, in my opinion, he's the best quarterback out there. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I think the reason why you get a Derek Carr, and Derek Carr would be interested, not only because Tampa is a great place to live, not only because ownership is going to go all in, and you have the talent here at the end of the day, but also he was the quarterback that Tom Brady was talking about. So what have I told you? You get a chance to follow Tom Brady and basically prove everybody wrong by having a better record with the team that you were, supposedly you're not a great quarterback. I think there's an extra motivation there at the end of the day. Just my opinion. With that being said, Harry, Jacoby Brissett, how do you feel about that?
Really?
I'm just saying. I mean,
really?
You're talking about.
Listen. Ruth is going to be all politically correct. Are you out your mind, Jacoby Brissett?
Why? What 20? What? This is the kind of quarterback you want. He's a game manager. He's big. He can somewhat run. I've called him a fat ass on my show. Hopefully that doesn't.
Lord,
come me.
Please forgive him for what he knows not what he does tonight on the show.
I'm just saying he could.
What? Seriously, Peter, put the crack pipe down. Jacoby Brissett.
He's a game managing quarterback like you want. 48 and 20.
No, buddy, I didn't say I wanted a game manager. You see, and like everybody else likes to put word in my mouth.
All right.
Nobody knows. I'm tired of people
Defend yourself.
Completely. I'm not going to defend myself. I don't have to. I mean, nobody knows what you have in Kyle Trask, but I do know what we have in this football team, Peter. I know you have Mike Evans, and I know you have Chris Godwins. Okay, you have an up-and-coming tight end. You said to defend myself, I'm going to make my point. You have 2 running backs in White and Fournette. They have very low mileage on the tires. They're barely used. Just ask anybody in the National Football League. Look, life's going to be so much easier for whoever plays quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they're going to have a running game. And when you have receivers like that, that's going to open up the passing game, unlike it's been this past year.
I have to ask you.
Ruth, I have to ask Ruth. Ruth, you watch the games. Do you think not any team in the National Football League worried about Tampa's run game?
Let me ask you, Ruth.
It's
really
young and sparky. I love our run game right now. Leonard Fournette didn't have the most playoff Lenny season that we expected him to last year, but Rashad White came in and filled in the blank. So I think it could be lethal having that AB punch with Chris Evans and with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and then having a run game to follow. I think it'd be beautiful. But Jacoby Brissett, let's get that out of there, because I understand that we lost to Cleveland and it was in an embarrassing fashion and we made Jacoby look elite. But in all reality, that is not what is going to fix Tampa's problem when it comes to the passing game. Jacoby is just not the answer.
Let's go out to Tampa Bay. Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. You're on with
Thank you, Jesus.
Along with Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire, and of course, Ruth the Truth. Go, my friend.
Don't you have to go to the bathroom, Pete, or something? Just like
I got to host
a drink of water. I'll host it for you. I'll talk to Ruth for a little while.
Yeah, because I tell you right now, if you host the show, you're going to be talking about Kyle Trask this, Kyle Trask that. I feel like I'm watching a Jameis Winston show here where you're saying how great Kyle Trask is.
Wait a minute. You're the one that never even liked Derek Carr, Pete.
Oh, please.
No, I will. You go back. He never liked Derek Carr before. And all of a sudden, he's a free agent. He's going to be like, we want Derek Carr. Tell the people the truth.
When I heard Jameis Winston's name come in the mix, I said, oh, Lord, this is going south for everybody.
Well, I'm just saying, listen. All right, Ray, I know you want to talk about
Ray loves going south, but go ahead.
Oh, jeez.
This guy sucks.
Go ahead, Ray.
You're not trying to sink the ship with Jameis.
I love the conversation tonight. I want to get in here.
Okay, go for it.
But go. No, you go for it. Let me hang around to quip in here every now and then.
No. I'm saying, Ray, what are you calling about, my friend? Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, we were talking about Canales, Dave Canales, and the offensive coordination with this team and everything. And it's yeah, well, the thing is, everybody's like, well, he's the only one that said he would come. And it's like, first off, get off that train. Is it we back to politics 2020? It's like you're either this or you're that. It's like, no, it could just be the fact that develops the running game with Walker the third. That kid actually got MVP votes. They were small, but he got him as a rookie offensive player, and maybe it was the rookie offensive player votes. And that's a rookie team, and with a quarterback in Geno Smith has been around, but it wasn't like he didn't pull some new bags out of his tricks where he started running 40s and he really had strong legs. Just a good, solid player. We've seen this Geno back in New York with the Jets. We knew he had this potential, but
he has always the potential, but he's been able to harness that, and I think that's what the Bucs are looking at. And again, this is where the Kyle Trask talk comes in, because he is the only quarterback on the roster at the end of the day. I tell you what, let's go ahead and go out to Ruth the Truth here. Your thoughts on Kyle Trask and the possibility of him starting with the Bucs?
I think he had a lot of time to watch behind Brady the last 2 seasons, but I don't think he's ready to fix the issues that we have in the offense. I think the kid needs a little bit more time in the back seat, in the car seat, or you would say. I want somebody with veteran experience. I want somebody who we don't have to really kind of just throw it in the water and see if it bites. I want somebody who's really going to pack a punch, and I think getting a veteran would be the best answer.
That was perfect, Ruth. That puts it in the water and see if it bites. I love what she says there. Make it.
I love fishing, so I love using fishing analogies.
I love it. No, use 5-pound test, so you don't feel like you're trying to land some big fish. But bring someone in here, like even a Gardner Minshew, or someone that, if he gets gritty and beats the Kyle Trask, it still doesn't mean Trask can't be our quarterback. Just that's the case there. But I don't think it happens. But with a new offensive coordinator, anybody you bring in here. Or do you still grab a Stetson Bennett if he's around in the 3rd or 4th?
No, I don't take. I'm telling you right now, I don't take Stetson Bennett. He's 25 years old. He's not a kid. He's an adult. He made a terrible decision before the biggest job interview of his life. What are you thinking, Stetson Bennett, for getting out there and having public drunkenness when you're 25 years old? No, I'm not. He's already making bad decisions off the field. I don't know what he's going to do on the field. I have no confidence. Sorry.
I got one comment I want to make, and it's going to rub a lot of Tampa fans the wrong way. And it's probably going to rub you wrong. I've never seen a town pretend to know about a quarterback being ready when this town has never even had a franchise quarterback.
Well,
okay? Give me a break.
I guess that's BTSD.
Hi, Ruth. Say hello to Bandit, Ruth.
Bucs.
Bandit.
Isn't he just a pretty one? Isn't he?
It's
B talk. I want to hear
There
it.
you go.
Yes.
There you go,
Okay,
Pete.
no,
There
I
you
don't
go.
want to see that.
This guy sucks.
That's an old trick. Don't do that.
The cat's butt again. Can you show the cat's butt?
Yes. Listen, it's BTSD
Yes, sir.
at the end of the day, okay? Because Bucs fans have not seen a young quarterback. In fact, most of the success of this team throughout their history has been with veteran quarterbacks. And our points here, guys, are why do you want to waste the talent you have with seeing if you have what you have with the rookie quarterback when you could go out there and get a veteran and possibly once again be a playoff team? And who knows? All you got to do is get in. Why see it? Because it's never happened in this franchise.
Pete,
who
what
says
if
it's
you
going to
see it?
happen?
What
if you don't? Are
What
you
if he-
prepared?
as Kyle
Wait a minute.
Trask,
Let me ask the question here. What if
Yes,
you
sir.
don't? What if you don't see it and you waste a year?
Well, you have to look to see it. That's the thing. You've got to look.
You've
You
had
don't know
2
if
years
till
to
you
see
give
it.
it
You've
a
got
shot.
BA in the building.
Yes.
He's not been able to beat out Blaine Gabbert. They haven't given
Because
him
Gabbert had 7 years in the Risk It Biscuit system. It
right,
took
and he's
Tom Brady a
13.
year.
He's 13-34 with the career record. You mean to tell me he can't beat out a first-round bust?
No, the thing is with this offense, they don't want to know if it's got some.
and
new
they don't
offshoot.
have the same offense. They're changing the offensive system
Well, no,
up.
but you keep switching.
Ruth, I love your nails.
Listen, when they were running that offense and not letting Kyle
They're
Trask.
my actual real nails, by the way.
I know. We'll have our own side shop.
Go
Okay.
ahead, Marlon. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ruth.
I'm only
No,
kidding.
he was just complimenting me on my nails, and I was telling
They
him
are
that were
pretty. They
real.
are
I've
very
been
pretty.
growing them out for
Hey,
6
guys, I'd love an opinion. Ray, no vets want to come to this franchise because you hire and fire way too much here, and the Glazers really can't be trusted.
Oh,
You haven't had a
no.
quarterback on a second contract. Hold on. They haven't had a quarterback on a second contract. And do you think anyone in the 49ers thought that Purdy would be ready? Come on, man.
Harry, Tom Brady chose the organization and chose
Thank
the
you,
roster
Peter.
for a reason. They're
Thank
3 years removed from a playoff. People saying, "Oh, the Bucs organization, they don't have a
Name
playoff."
another one.
What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. The last
Name a quarterback this team has ever developed.
You're
The Glazer
making
family got a taste of the
your-
Super Bowl, and they want to put the team in the best position for them to do so. So we're going to see that happen. I have faith in them that they're going to get it right because you cannot fill in a Tom Brady empty shoes with Kyle Trask. That's not how that goes.
No, you
And
cannot. No, I'm glad you said that, Ruth. And you don't, because what you do is because you have 21 other free agents and you're Levante David and Ryan Suckup and all these places, right? All these offensive and defensive lines, because you have to go out and get so many personalities and find leaders in those positions. And this is what I was trying to tell Pete last night. We've seen it over and over and over again through the fabric of the NFL history, is that when you have teams that go through a big change, a Joe Montana moves to KC away from the 49ers, Steve Young steps in, of course, Steve Young, other issues. You see, especially in those circumstances, it's the young guys and the new additions and the strength that Jason Light does in evaluating you bring in here. They build around and they build a dome around that kid because of the fact they know he's got 2 years behind Brady. They understand his limitations or his pluses. We will see, but it builds team camaraderie. And you get the 52 believing and building around a kid that the whole world is saying no. Who doesn't love a narrative like that?
That's
And
true.
that's what I want to see in 2023.
But
I think that's the
here's what I think tells you everything you need to know about offensive coordinators that have gotten interviewed. You had Todd Monken that was supposedly offered the job. He turned down the job, went with Baltimore. Who knows if they're going to be able to keep Lamar Jackson at the end of the day, but he chose
How
Baltimore.
does he not come into this conversation of quarterback? for the
Lamar
Bucs?
Jackson? I mean, again, is Baltimore going to keep him? Are they going to keep him? I think they're going to try to
I
keep
don't
him.
think he wants to stay.
Right. So you're going to have to trade him for a plethora of picks, Leo word. But at the end of the day, Todd Monken chose Baltimore. He didn't choose Tampa. Why? Because of the uncertainty of Kyle Trask. And yes, Harry, you're absolutely making my point. They've never had a young quarterback develop. So why do I think it's going to happen now? I don't think the Bucs are at that point. If you want to develop a young quarterback, then you give him at least 2 years. And guess what? Todd Bowles doesn't have 2 years.
How can they trade somebody that's not under contract, number one, with Lamar Jackson?
I don't think you develop a quarterback as well as an offensive coordinator at the same time. I don't think that would make any sense. We're not trying to see two toddlers try to take on the NFL. I think that would be asking too much.
Hey, I love you, Ruth. I absolutely love you, Ruth. You have no idea.
I want to back Ruth up too, because Ruth said, talking about wait, what'd you say, Ruth, about forget it. You said something about the quarterback play in here and blowing it up and everything.
Yeah, and two toddlers. He's right. Two inexperienced entities. Yeah.
Well, no, Lamar Jackson, Ruth, I've heard there's many Buccaneer fans I've talked with over the last 6 months, and since the probability of Tom Brady retiring after this season, which I think we've all pretty much known for almost 6 months now. And a lot of people, and I almost tend to believe if it's Lamar Jackson, you blow that thing up, because with this defense and a quarterback that plays like that, but I just don't know. It would take Jason Light wizardry and spells to try to cover the team like that.
I mean, has he not done it? I mean, did he not do the Super Bowl year? I mean, people said there's no way he's going to get Tom Brady because the Bucs are the losingest franchise out there. They get Tom Brady. No way they're going to get Rob Gronkowski. They get Rob Gronkowski. No way they can sign Leonard Fournette because they don't have the money.
Yeah, because they all came because of the Glaziers.
Look, I'm not
saying me. That's why there was a plethora of offensive coordinators to come here to Tampa.
Spare me the whole nonsense of, well, it was just Brady that did it. It was also Jason Light. It was also this organization signing off on it. Antonio Brown. There's another one. And then furthermore, when everybody says, oh my God, the sky is falling, they're going to lose all these free agents the next year after they win the Super Bowl. What else do they do? They bring everybody back. So don't tell me it can't be done by Jason Light and company. They can create wizardry.
That's when you had Tom Brady as QB1.
But
that was the reason. Not because are we still giving the same credit to the guy? Hold on. Are we still giving the same credit to the creep that got rid of a head coach? Hold on. That he never should have got rid of in the first place?
Listen, he is the greatest of all time. He definitely has some pull, but let's not act like he was the only one that was recruiting. Let's not act like he was the one restructuring contracts and making things happen. Jason Light has built this organization up to be a championship one, and they added Tom Brady to it. Go ahead.
I really don't think Bruce Arians stepping down was a decision that the Bucs wanted to make. As much as there's controversy between, did Brady have a problem with BA? I honestly think that it was his health that made him to decide to step down.
Thank you, Ruth.
I mean, he's getting up there in age. He's been coaching for 40 plus years. Like, let the guy just kind of take the back seat. I know everybody would rather have BA than Todd Bowles. I mean, that's just the honest truth.
Even though there are current players that have actually come out and, leaked it that Tom Brady came back because he agreed with. Hold on, there's two players.
Yeah, no, there's two players.
There's two players that said that this quarterback had your head coach fired.
Well, no.
That's why he came back. He did not want to play for the organization. He did not want to play. They said, you're under contract. And said, okay. Get rid of him, and I'll be good.
Okay, so even more of a point here is if you had...
He came back to the Buccaneers because he had to, but I want to know, because there's different varying levels of things you hear. These players may have been the very players that were the ones that saw Arians popping off of his Achilles heels in the morning, off his overnight treadmill or whatever it is he did, and then he'd go in with his red pen and evilly slash through like Zorro, the gay blade, the offensive game plan they put together. I think there's truth there, but I'm going to go back to what Ruth said. I don't know how much of what it took, but Christine Arians wanted him to the sideline. He was not looking good. He was turning red. He was turning his face was veins were popping out, and that's the problem he's had previously with the heart. And I mean, we can say, oh no, the gambler boy could have rolled in. No, he had to get out because of his health. Now, the two players probably know the ones when they were canceling. They put 2 and 2 together. Tom Brady wanted him out. I don't think Tom Brady wanted him out. He knew enough to know that that exact setup in 2020 is what got him 55, and to shake that card at that point was taking a gamble.
Yeah, but you can't dismiss what I just said, though. And you guys have just dismissed that.
There's nobody dismissing it. We're turning the page at this point. We know.
Oh, okay, because it just seemed like it was dismissed. I mean, listen.
It's not being dismissed, but what I'm saying is this team is going to be better off for it because they have turned the page. Tom Brady is retired. So go out, get yourself a veteran quarterback. You still have that window open, and you've been able to do it. do it again. Go out there, restructure contracts, push money down the road. If not,
hey, Peter.
Yes.
Let me ask you though.
Yes.
And I don't know this to be true, but a real quick question: to do that, to put all your avenues there, and go, okay, but Jensen was injured. Marpet can't replace him yet, but Hainsey looks good, and Godecki, we're going to.
You're going to have Jensen back. Yes, you're going to have to retool. Yes.
Now, if the Bucs have to do this, and let's say they get a Derek Carr, let's say it just works that way. He wanted to be here anyway. David's got a house down the street.
Correct.
If doing that and making that next run, even with a team, we've got quite a few holes to fill. If that's going to take away from making other decisions to find your Ali Marpets, to find your offensive linemen, to find your linebackers that Jason Light would do in his evaluation, which is his best strength as a general manager, and to develop these guys.
Good point.
With Kyle Trask at quarterback, with your new OC, with Rashad White getting running play. Keyshawn Vaughn, I think, stays now. He runs the style that I think that we're going to be running here with a running style. I just think we can have the best of both worlds, because even if that doesn't work with Kyle this year and we see if he is the guy, I think we have a team next year just as strong, maybe better.
They're not looking for next year. You got Todd Bowles is on the hot seat. What do we know about the Glazers? He is on the hot seat because the Glazers. It doesn't matter. The Glazers give you 2 years. That's how it goes
then
here.
They got to give him. He's only at
but
half
they're not
year.
going to. They're not. That's what I'm telling you. That's the reason why. Also,
Ruth,
they may have not. Listen.
I think that Todd Bowles will be in the hot seat if they have a under 500 season? Absolutely.
Okay, yes. Yeah, but what else is going to make the difference? Tom Brady, he's gone. He got rid of your head coach, and his salary's on your books. Tom Brady has screwed this organization more ways than one in this past year.
After giving them a Super Bowl.
Right.
I said last year. I didn't say the Super Bowl year, Ruth. He did perfectly great for this for the organization. But the bottom line is this: you got to stop looking at just what you're seeing.
Tunnel vision.
Through the media. The man did not want to play for this organization this past season.
But that's not going to do that. There's nothing you can do about that now. You have to move on.
Ruth,
hold on.
You said 2 years, right?
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years is what you think that you'd give a Todd Bowles, right? Now, Todd Bowles hasn't got his first year yet. He got Bruce Arians' team dumped on him 3 minutes before the season started. He had a fired offensive coordinator, Byron Leftwich, who, by the way, isn't being in line to hire by anybody else right now, and Tom Brady running that side of the ball. And I want to ask you, Ruth, you saw this time. There were times where Tom Brady wants to go for it on fourth against the Saints. Bruce Arians or Todd Bowles says, get your butt to the sideline. They kick it on fourth. They go down, stop them. They scored a run-off game. And we also saw at least 5 or 6 other games where there was offensive decisions made going for it on 4th and 5 from their own side of the 50, going for it. We know that wasn't Todd Bowles making it. Would you not agree that Todd Bowles hasn't really completely coached this team on offense and defensive side of the balls yet?
I think with a 17-game season, I think he had plenty of time to prove what he can bring to the organization as a head coach. Yeah, I think he had plenty of time. This season's going to be somewhat shaky, starting with a new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback that you still probably have no idea at this point in time. So training camp is going to be around the corner before you know it. So the Bucs just have a lot of big decisions to make, but Todd Bowles will definitely be in the hot seat if at the end of the next season. What if the NFC South gets better in some way, shape, or form? What if the Saints figure out their quarterback position and the Carolina Panthers as well, and they all elevate their game? If the Buccaneers are sitting in the bottom of their division, it's just going to be a problem for Todd Bowles.
I have a question for Ruth. Can I ask real quick?
Sure, go for it. Hold on, Ray. Ray, hold on a minute.
I'm sorry, I thought I asked that already.
Go ahead.
The question that I have, and I don't want to ask these two guys because they're going to throw holy water on me because they think I'm a possessed or something. But everybody says that Todd Bowles is on a 2-year plan here, possibly, even though he signed a 5-year deal. How about Jason Light? You made the comment. Hold on. If they finish under 500 again, do you not think that he's going to be on the hot seat? If they finish under 500, Ruth, please.
Jason Light has worked a lot of magic that we spoke about earlier. And I think that, I don't know, just hiring a GM, firing and hiring a GM just seems like a whole lot of work. I think it would be easier to replace Bowles than Jason Light.
Okay, but wait a minute. He has to be held accountable too, doesn't he, for the 8 and 9 season?
Well, I mean, if he puts a roster together that is, equivalent to something that they had in their Super Bowl winning season, I think that I don't think it would be falling back on Jason Light.
I just really wanted your opinion. I already know what Peter's opinion is going to
I
be.
like Jason Light.
I do too.
I've spoke to him a few times. He's a real genuine guy, and I really think he cares about the best for this organization. I truly do.
Well, and I'll tell you right now, I think Jason Light can be held accountable, and which is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen, I think you're going to go with a veteran quarterback at the end of the day, because not only is Todd Bowles' job on the line, but Jason Light. But I think Jason Light gets a little bit more leeway because, again, he's the one that built this roster up so Tom Brady could select it. And again, 3 years removed from a Super Bowl. Ray, we got to run here. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you.
Let me finish real quick. Let me just finish.
Yeah, we got calls coming in, but go ahead, Ray.
I'm sorry, you go. Todd Bowles' job is a lot more on the hot seat. If they sign a big name quarterback to come in here with your new OC and your 21 other free agents you're going to fill, and they expect him to have success and he doesn't, he'll be on the hot seat a lot more.
He's gonna be on the hot seat. Listen, he's gonna be on the hot seat any way it goes, my friend. You can't
happen.
Yes, it does, because listen, I don't care about Arthur Smith. I don't care about that. I know about the Tampa. No, it's not.
Let me hear Ray real quick.
Hey, it's not about the fans. It has nothing to do with the fans. The Glazers, in their history, this is what they've done. Raheem Morris, 2009. How many years did he get? He was fired. Greg Schiano, 2 years. He didn't
point I'm making.
Hold on. Let me make my point, please. Raheem Morris, fired. Greg Schiano, 2 years, fired. Lovie Smith, 2 years, fired. Dirk Cutter, a couple years, fired. They're not going to put up with it. And on top of it, listen, hold on. Listen. They made the comments about Tom Brady rubbing off on this organization. Do you honestly think this team is going to go back to the doldrums? And do you think if Jason Light's job is on the line and Todd Bowles' job is on the line, that they're going to depend on a quarterback who's never made a professional NFL start? I don't think so. Ray, we got to run.
If we win 4 games next season, then Jason Light and Todd Bowles will both be on the hot seat.
Correct. And
there you go. And that's why this team continues to be perennial losers.
No, they're not, because they're 3 years removed from being a Super Bowl champion, and they're
right.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
You keep trying to cut me off.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to finish the point.
Then let me finish after you.
Okay, listen. This is my freaking show. Okay.
Hey, come on, Pete.
Stand by. Okay, hold on. You're talking about a perennial loser. They're 3 years removed from a Super Bowl championship. They just won the division 2 years in a row. Cut them some slack. Now, Ray, you can finish.
What they're doing down there in New Orleans, what they're doing with the receiver, what they're doing, Pitts is doing, and with Arthur Smith and the Falcons, and now with Frank Reich in Carolina. If this Todd Bowles defense takes a little bit longer to put together with the free agents on that side, being Jamel Dean and Sean Murphy Bunting, so you got to rebuild the back end a little. And what are you doing in the middle with Devontae? But if they have a modicum, I'm just telling you how I see it. Buccaneers defense has a modicum of success this year.
Yeah.
Plays Buccaneers defense. And you see not so much an all-star quarterback in Kyle Trask, but you see an improving Kyle Trask, like you see with a Daniel Jones or Danny Dimes in New York, or like you see with other quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
And not only is Todd Bowles' job so safe, he can go ahead and build that beautiful house down by the water, because they ain't going to get rid of it. It doesn't have to be.
That's nice to imagine, but I'm telling you right now what I think they're going to do. All right, Ray, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you. Let me go out
Have
to
a good one, Ray.
Alex, go ahead. You're on the Evolution. Yours truly, along with Ruth the Truth.
Who's all in here?
Hello?
Alex. Just you, Alex. You're all by yourself.
Go ahead, Alex. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek and Ruth.
Guys, how we doing tonight?
Doing great.
Hey. I saw that conversation got a little hot, but listen, I want to put my intake on that.
Go ahead.
You know, everybody has some good points. I do believe that what Peter said about the whole, you know, every 2-year head coach, I absolutely believe that. Todd Bowles is going to be on the hot seat this year. Okay. Do I believe that we need a full-fledged rebuild? I don't think we need that.
No.
Me and Peter have been back and forth all week long, putting in our opinions about, you know, who the next quarterback should be. You know, some of us like me, I'm not going to sit there and say I want Kyle Trask. I want Kyle Trask. Peter, I'm not saying that. I never said that. But what I don't believe in is going out there and putting everything you have to pull on a quarterback that's $40 million when you already have.
Thank you.
You don't know if it's going to be $40 million. You guys assume that it's going to be $40 million. And even if okay, so you didn't have cap. The Saints haven't had cap in 5 years. How are they able to still be competitive and pick up players in free agency?
But
listen, just answer that question. Just answer that question. And I'll tell you what, really quick, I got to get Ruth out of here first, and you can answer the question.
Why?
Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Thanks, Peter. I appreciate the platform. Check me out this Sunday at 11 o'clock to noon on 102.5 The Bone for the Moment of Truth with your girl, Ruth. I'm super excited to be bringing Jazz Animal Ortega, a local boxer here in Tampa, into the studio. Can't wait to see you guys there. I'll be doing a live stream from the Facebook page and Instagram, so check me out every Sunday. Real Raw Radio. Let's go.
Love
Ruth,
it.
I cannot wait to catch your show, Ruth. And
Thanks.
You know what? Thank you for coming on tonight because, as Chef Boyardee says, and Harry the Groot approves this message, I, my dear, am the chef of the shit soup, baby girl.
Well, you are. You're definitely.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I love you. I've been following your show, Ruth. I'm so proud of you, what you're accomplishing, and I'm going to tell you what, you're going to go places.
Thank you.
If I could ever be assistance, let me know. I do clean up very well, but I'm telling you right now, go get them because you're going to get it really good. But I did give you something to think about it. What about Jason Light?
Jason Light may also be on the hot seat. We'll see how it works out. Ruth, thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution.
All right. Take care.
All right, Ruth. Up there. All right, now it's back to us. Now, Alex, you can go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So
answer the question. How did the Saints every year? And
do as you're told, Alex.
Well, listen, I just want to know because the fans are like, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. The Bucs have all this. Hold on. The Bucs have no cap at all, but yet there's other teams out there that are able to manipulate it. How are the Saints able to do that?
I'm not going to answer that because that's not what I ever said. I said this. This is basically what I'm saying. I don't believe in going to pay $40 million for a quarterback.
How do you know it's going to be 40? How do you know it's going to be $40 million?
I don't care if it's $20 million. You
get what you pay for at the end of the day. You don't want to spend the money on a quarterback. You're not going to have to complain about a quarterback. What are you talking about?
But my
be nice to Alec.
But my point is, I'm not just harping on just Kyle Trask because yes, I believe in giving the opportunity to give to your first round picker who sat behind the GOAT for 2 years. He learned behind the GOAT for 2 years. I don't believe in wasting a draft pick. Now let me finish.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that if you're a Bucs fan and you truly thought that you're going to go from a Tom Brady straight to another top quarterback like Derek Carr and not have to pay the price, that's insane because at the end of the day, okay, let's just say we get Derek Carr. He's going to come at a cost. And how much of a cost is that going to come out?
Is it worth it? Is it worth it for the cost? It's not. So it's not. Hold on. So let me get this straight, Alex. Let me get this straight. And all you Bucs fans out there throwing this point out there. It's not worth it to get a Derek Carr if he gets you to the playoffs and wins the division and possibly you go a little bit further. He's not worth it at that point.
Ooh, who's calling?
Crickets. I heard nothing at this point.
I heard someone calling.
But guess what?
What? Guess what? Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Not because
it's not worth it going all in.
It's not
worth it going all in.
Was
it not worth it to get Tom Brady in the first place and pay over $20 million?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
You got a Super Bowl.
Was it not worth it the next season to go all in and sign all these free agents and spend the money? Was it not worth it?
Yes. Now let me answer the question.
Now
answer
the question in year 3. If you have an opportunity, answer the question this. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Listen. If you have an opportunity to be competitive and be a playoff team and still win this division, is it worth it to go out there and get the best quarterback that's going to give you the best chance to win? Yes or no?
Yes, until.
Thank you. There you go. That's what I'm talking about there. Until what?
Until you did one mistake.
One mistake of what?
One mistake.
Of what?
You let Bruce Arians walk.
It doesn't matter. You got Todd Bowles now. You've got to turn the page.
With all due respect, Peter, you're trying to make a point on a player you never like. It doesn't work.
It doesn't.
And now suddenly your convenience is because Derek Carr's the answer.
It's about a player that is out there. Does he give you the best player, the best plan to win?
But how does he give you the best plan to win?
I'm just going to ask you, does he give you the best chance to win?
Two.
Has he done it?
Peter. Of course he does, but so does Aaron Rodgers, and so does a plethora of other quarterbacks.
Aaron Rodgers is going to cost you probably
Peter,
more.
answer my question.
Go
you
ahead.
Make me answer your question.
Go
answer
ahead.
My question.
Go ahead.
Who are you referring to? Does he give you the best chance? Kyle Trask?
No, Derek Carr gives you the best chance to win.
I don't
because
care
he's
about
done
Derek
it.
Carr. I don't want
Jimmy
Derek
Garoppolo
Carr.
gives you a better chance to win.
Garoppolo gives you nothing to win. The guy can't stay healthy.
He's a veteran quarterback. That's what they're thinking.
Listen. How can you say that when you never gave Trask the opportunity?
Because
Amen.
I have confidence that a veteran quarterback can come in here with the talent assembled and lead them to the playoffs.
Wait a minute, Peter. You never even liked Jimmy Garoppolo before. It just hit me.
You're just stirring it up tonight. You're not saying anything of any consequence at all.
Guys,
I'm trying to tell you.
Seriously, though.
I'm trying to tell you. Please don't talk over me. Call back. Please.
I think Ray was trying to call him, Peter.
Jeez. Call back.
Did you think that Brock Purdy was ready? Just out of curiosity, do you, Pete? Did you?
I didn't think he was ready, but guess what? San Francisco didn't start him from day one, Harry. And it's an anomaly. No. It's an anomaly. How many times has that happened?
Roger. I honestly think that
Roger, let's go out to the phone lines. Roger, go ahead.
Peter Blake. Okay. You keep talking about turning the page.
Turn the page. Why did she turn the page? Why do you guys want to go back into history here and say you can't turn the page? Tom Brady's friggin' retired. Okay? He's done. No matter what happened in the past, hold on. He got you a championship. You've had 3 playoff appearances. This organization isn't as bad as you think it is. So stop with the nonsense of, well, this organization doesn't have a plan. This doesn't have a plan.
Well, who says that? Who says it's nonsense? How do we know it's correct? Because what we're doing is speculating.
Because they have been a Super Bowl champion 3 years removed. You know the consequences of it. Are you going to miss some players? Are you going to lose some players? Absolutely going to lose some players. But to come on here and say, well, we got to give this guy a chance because he's been under Tom Brady for 2 years and we're expecting him to work with this talent. What if he doesn't? I'm telling you, Todd Bowles and Jason Light and this organization and ownership don't want to do that. They want to go with the veteran that's been in the league.
That does make sense. But Peter, I do have to ask you this, okay? And I'm not trying to stir the pot. Okay. You work in a very strenuous job. So does Roger Shue. It's a very high demanding job.
Correct.
And let's just say last week you had 80 conversions. Okay. I think you understand what I'm saying. You got 80 conversions for the whole entire week. And this week is already Wednesday and you've only got 3. It's the what have you done for me mentality. This was 3 years ago.
I agree.
Okay.
And they want to duplicate that success. That was their comments coming out. We're not going to allow Tom.
But it's still, the NFL is still, what have you done for me lately?
I agree with
out of one side of my mouth, I'm talking about every 2 years, this organization has a propensity of firing coaches.
Correct.
Okay. And they don't show very much goodwill. Wasn't just yesterday or the day before and everybody's standing on a soapbox going, what coach wants to come to this organization? They have no direction. The whole world's falling down. The skies are falling in. Well, you now have an offensive coordinator. And now you get some of the buffoons coming out of the woodwork going, well, he's never called the play before. He was a high school guy. You don't know what you have. And that's why I am standing on a soapbox talking about Kyle Trask. You cannot go by just what one person says and then we interpret it. It's almost like the analogy when I was talking about with the Bible.
It's not one person that's saying it. It's the organization that is telling you. He has not been able to overtake Blaine Gabbert as a backup. Blaine Gabbert is not a starting quarterback in this league. The only team he's probably a starting quarterback for this league is for the Bucs because he knows the offense. And guess what? They changed the offense because if they were going to go with Kyle Trask or Blaine Gabbert, they would have kept Byron Leftwich. That's why it doesn't make any sense to me. You're basically telling me that, hold on, you're basically telling me a guy that's never taken a snap in a new offense is going to learn this overnight. He's not going to. Plus,
what quote do you have that says that Kyle Trask cannot do that?
I'm telling you right now.
Hold on. That's the interpretation that you took from that from Media Row.
The guy, it's not just BA. This is various reports out there. Rick Stroud said, or one of the writers said, I'm not going to, I don't want to put him out there, but the reports are out there. Been plenty of reports that Kyle Trask is processing the offense not fast enough. So let me get this straight, guys. This is how this makes sense. You go from Byron Leftwich, who you already had a difficult time in processing that offense, to a new offense. By the way, what do we know about young quarterbacks at the end of the day? If you continue to change offensive coordinators, you lose, you ruin their progression.
Oh yeah, we've seen that in Chicago for how many years now?
I don't see how this works out to Kyle Trask's advantage. Again, is he going to get an opportunity? Yes, but I think at the end of the day, with Todd Bowles' job on the line, with possibly Jason Light in the hot seat, I think they're going to go more with the veteran. Is it going to be Derek Carr?
They may have to go with a veteran. And it may have to be that mid to lower tier veteran because Peter, unfortunately, and I'm going to say it, this organization doesn't know shit about developing a quarterback. Plain and simple. They never have. And it's a shame, too.
I'm never going to dispute that because I've seen it is a quarterback graveyard when it comes to this team. I agree with you on that. And that's why I think the most of their success in their organization's history has been with a veteran quarterback. Go ahead, Roger.
Okay. You were talking about earlier about turning the page. I'm going to go with Harry on this. How do you turn the page on $55 million in cap hell?
How do the Saints turn? Hold on. How did the Saints turn the page on $55 million?
I'm not talking about the
Saints.
No,
I'm talking about the
Tampa Bay
Saints.
Buccaneers.
Because you're coming on this show right now and telling me that Derek Carr is going to go to the Saints and they have worse cap trouble.
I don't think he's going there.
I'm going there. I'm asking him.
No, I don't think that Derek Carr is going to go there, Peter. The thing is, look at the condition what the Saints are in because they keep moving that money forward and forward and forward. The Buccaneers, but Peter, the Buccaneers have, the talent that's on this roster, top to bottom, is so much better than the New Orleans Saints. You can't compare the two.
So
New Orleans, when this finally catches up to New Orleans, Peter, New Orleans organization is going to be screwed for the next decade.
When is it caught up with the organization? Before Tom Brady?
It's going to. No, this is going to catch up to him, Peter.
Here's the thing. Here's the point. When is it caught up to the Saints? The Saints have dominated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before Tom Brady. Even when Tom Brady was here, they were winning division titles, and they were supposedly in cap hell.
That's a fluke thing, buddy, this past 2-3 years. I'm telling you, the Saints are not as good of a team as this Tampa team.
And there's the point again. Why would you go with somebody that is an unknown commodity when you have an opportunity to go out there and get a veteran? Maybe not Derek Carr. Maybe not Jimmy Garoppolo. Roger, stop. Maybe not Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr. It could be a Jacoby Brissett. It could be a Baker Mayfield. It could be a Gardner Minshew.
Well, you know what? And that's a good point because the New Orleans Saints had a head coach who was consistent, unlike the 2-year plan that this team has to go through. This is what I'm talking about. And that does make sense. Peter, listen, this team here in Tampa Bay, as much crap that we're stirring up right now, and we've got everybody up in arms, and I really hope you're enjoying this. There's a reason for it because everybody has an opinion. We all got an asshole, guys.
Yep.
We all have an opinion.
Yeah.
But let me explain something to you. From top to bottom, this lineup for this team is still a premier in the NFC.
Correct.
They are definitely the best in the NFC South.
Which is
so don't put yourself in cap hell. You're going to have to relieve a little bit of it. You're talking about getting rid of cutting maybe a Donovan Smith. Maybe you want to cut Leonard Fournette and a couple of other players. But you still have to replace these players. You have to be careful on how you're going to do it.
And you know what? I have confidence in Jason Light. And
you have to continue to draft well through the draft. And you know what? I don't have as much confidence as I did 2.5 years ago with Jason Light as I do now
That's a fair assessment.
Versus now. And the reason for it is it's not because he became a piece of dog doo-doo in the course of 2 years. It's because he allowed one player to put this organization in an area that it should not be in, and it still should be continuing to win. So this is what I say to people that are out there before I go. Support this team. They're not done. I don't care what quarterback you put up on. I do care. But you put a serviceable quarterback up under center on this team, and they improve that defense, and you get that offensive line shored, this team will be in the playoffs next year. If you go out and sign a big dollar quarterback, Peter, you just hurt this organization twice.
I don't think so. Because again, if you're going for the here and now, if you're coming to win now, then you go out and get a veteran. And again, people go, is it worth it? Yeah, it's worth it. Because
this team was built on draft picks, not free agents, bud.
I mean, it can be used in both ways.
Look at the defense.
If you mess up, listen, the defense is pretty damn good. Okay, they had an injury last year, but they also did it through trades. JPP comes to mind. Sue in free agency. They have a young core. They got some work to do. I have confidence that they're going to be able to do it. Roger, go ahead.
All right. Let's talk about Brock Purdy for a minute.
You keep on bringing up Brock Purdy, man. I mean,
let me make my point.
How many guys come into this league as the last draft pick?
Let me make my point.
The point that you're going to make is that he started for the San Francisco. Yes, I do. The point is he started for the San Francisco 49ers with a built-in team. Go ahead, Roger. Make the point. Because everybody's going to make the point. It's only one quarterback in the last 25 freaking years that's done what Brock Purdy's done. But go ahead.
Okay. You're correct in that. Now, did anyone think that Brock Purdy would take the Niners to the championship game?
Guess what?
No.
That's coaching. And that's a running game, Peter. That's coaching and a running game.
Guess what, guys?
No,
I'm going to let
don't you think
I'm gonna
that
let
Kyle
you know
Trask deserves the same chance that Brock Purdy had?
No, you know why? Because I don't have confidence that a defensive-minded coach is going to be able to develop a young quarterback.
You brought in a new offensive coordinator
I don't
that can take care of that.
I'm not going to take the chance. You ever see
Peter Blake? If Kyle Trask becomes the quarterback of this team and he leads this team to the playoffs, I want you to do me a favor.
What's up?
Do not jump on his bandwagon, sir.
I'm not jumping on his bandwagon. I'm telling you right now.
You're going to be stubborn.
I have nothing against Kyle Trask.
So you're going to be stubborn if he leads this team to the playoffs.
I am telling you, I have genuine concerns about a quarterback who's not able to overtake a backup. I have genuine concerns.
It took Tom Brady a year and a half to learn this offense, and you're worried about Kyle Trask?
And Peter, you know what? Don't make me Dikembe you, okay?
He has not been able to learn this offense, and they don't have any semblance of this offense anymore. They're going to move on to a different offense. That's even more concerning.
And with the weapons this team has, a wide receiver, et cetera, you could put me, you or Harry back there.
We can win.
We can win the
championship. You know what?
I've
got the newest slogan for you, Pete.
Go for it.
Kyle Trask is the new victim of volume.
Oh, God. You know.
I love it.
That's going up the shot right there.
All right, Roger. What else? Anything else?
That's it, man. This has been a freaking crazy-ass show.
And you know what? If you are not entertained and we don't give you something to think about during this show, go tune in somewhere else because you're not going to hear. Well, listen, man, we're not fanboys.
You won't hear anything like this anywhere else, anywhere on the internet.
You definitely won't. All right. Thanks a lot, Rod. Appreciate it. Alex, call back if you want to. Use the second call. Open phone line.
I got to go.
727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Harry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire. Go ahead and promote yourself.
My brothers.
Yes.
And my sisters are out there. And, of course, my little kitty cat that's playing with everything over there. What a night it's been. I'll tell you what, I didn't plan on being on very long. Peter, thank you so much for having me on tonight. I'm not trying to stir the pot. I'm just trying to give other people something else to think about. And you know what? It's an outsider's perspective looking in. Seriously. So whoever's quarterback in this team, it's going to be fine.
Okay.
This organization, hopefully they know what they're doing, but they haven't shown it the past year and a half. And I'm going to continue, pounding on it. Look, You can catch me in here on Monday and Wednesday nights, sometimes even on a Friday on the Sports Web. I'm Peter Blake's co-host. He hates me sometimes, but you know what? We're still brothers, and he loves me. Peter, have a good night. We'll talk to you soon. To everybody that made really cool comments out there that we haven't gotten to, Peter's going to go ahead and take care of it.
Get to all these comments. I promise you, we've had
guests. Peter,
yes,
you said in the beginning, just to take you a look at it, we're at the hour 47-minute mark. We're not going to be long tonight. Poo-poo.
Yeah, exactly.
And gotcha. And by the way, I always say keep your bets low and your returns high. And if I pissed you off, I did my job. Have a good night, everybody.
That is great right there. Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Thanks a lot for your time. Great stuff there. All right, let's get out to the comments. Let's read them. The phone lines are open. You have an opportunity to have an opinion. Just don't talk over me. If I'm trying to talk and make a point, don't talk over me. And if I ask you a question, just say yes or no. No matter if you're going to lose the debate or not. Just say yes or no. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. All right, let's get out to these comments, and they are plenty. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Hopefully you guys are still on for me to read them. Let's see here. Let's go out to Andrew Davis. Even Gino is not a Gino fan. Okay. Eric says Gino saved the Bucs in free agency. We'll see if he becomes a free agent. Again, that's a decision the Seattle Seahawks have to make. And they're going to have to figure out if they're going to sign him, bring him back. With the year he had, he's going to definitely command a lot more money than the Seahawks paid originally. Let's just put that out there. So there's no guarantee. Derek Carr to the rescue. Thinking Gino could be gone now. We'll see. No more playoffs, says Roger Shoes. Saints win the division for the next 5 to 10 years. And again, to that point, with everybody talking about the Saints and their dominance of the NFC South, through those years, they have been in cap hell and somehow, some way are able to manipulate that cap. So don't tell me it can't happen. And once again, just nonsense by you.
This guy sucks.
All right, let's go on to Roger Evans to the Bears.
That's good enough to suck right there.
I told you why that's not going to happen. $21 million cap hit by the Bucs. They're re-sign him to a contract. They're restructure deals. They'll make it happen. They're not going to get rid of Mike Evans. You're wasting the end of several players' primes if you don't at least bring in competition for Trask. Very good.
Ooh, yeah.
Agree. You don't drink Coke, silly. Well, I should have drinking that. I should have drank the Coke, but I didn't get a chance to drink it yet. So sniff. Eric says rumors on Gino to the Bucs. Justin, what? No A&W? Yes, no A&W. Kevin, evening, gents. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Ooh, yeah.
Peter, thank you very much.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go out to Andrew here. AEW starts early so the kids can go to bed afterwards.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Roger says, hit the like button. Absolutely. Justin says, the salary cap is like that movie Too Big to Fail. They always find a way to bail themselves out. Let me read it again, because I keep on going back to it. The salary cap in the NFL is like the national debt. Everybody talks about it, how they're going to be able to clean it up. It only gets bigger, and it never stops anything. Same thing with the NFL. To me, it's imaginary. It is. So good stuff there by Justin. Bucs going cheap with trash. Russ says Taylor Heineke would love to start in Tampa Bay. That's another name that you throw out there. And again, I just don't want this to say, well, I'm only wanting one option. I'm telling you what I would do as a general manager. If that's the best damn quarterback, in my opinion, out there on the market, I'm going after him. I don't care about his record, 63-79. He's had 6 different offensive coordinators in the last 9 years. He's never had a viable defense at the end of the day. That's what I'm looking at. But if it's somebody else, if it's Jacoby Brissett, if it's Baker Mayfield, if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, if it's Gardner Minshew, so be it. I'm going with the veteran option over Kyle Trask. I am. I'm not taking any chances. I've gone down this road before. I've seen rookie quarterbacks. I've seen first-year quarterbacks, and it's not pretty. And if you're a Bucs fan, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to have to name the list because you're already going to know. You're going to know. Let's go on to Eric. Geno Smith could come to the Bucs. Andrew again. Greg Allman from the Allman Brothers. No. Eric, we want Gino. Kevin, I'd rather take Mayfield with our new offensive coordinator. Certainly a possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, cancer survivor here. F cancer, absolutely. Let's go out to Justin. Heck no. Ray, Ron. I say Derek Carr. Okay. We want Gino rumors. According to my sources, Gino to the Bucs. What sources do you have? Let's see here. We need a mobile quarterback. That's for sure. I think anything at this point, Kevin, will be more mobile than Tom Brady. Just saying. Jameis door number 2. Laugh out loud. We'll see. Let's go out to Eric. Really think Geno Smith's coming to the Bucs. All right. Heineke is a good way to go. He looked very good against our top-ranked defense. Roger Shue. Who does Mr. Greek want as a quarterback? You know who he wants as a quarterback. He said it so plainly right there. Hendon Hooker, baby, could be in the 3rd round, coming off an ACL injury. But various reports say that he's in full recovery and, in fact, ahead of schedule. So is that somebody you look at as an option? Absolutely, if they're ready to turn the page on Kyle Trask. If they draft him, then you know that Kyle Trask's days are numbered here in Tampa. Case Keenum, Brian Hoyer, Brandon Whedon, you're just saying names.
This guy sucks.
Christopher says Hooker from Tennessee, absolutely. Justin says Peter Skoronski from Northwestern, the offensive tackle. I don't know if he's going to last until 19. The Bucs may have to trade up in order to get an offensive tackle, but that's definitely an option. I think he'll be taken way before that. Could be a top 10 selection. Justin says, I also think the new offensive coordinator would do wonders for AR-15, which has been talked about. We talked about him, Anthony Richardson. He's got all the tools, got all the measurables, but he doesn't have the accuracy. But he does have what you would say, what general managers love to say, the upside is completely crazy. He's got mobility. He can throw the ball. He just can't throw it accurately. He's got speed. That's what you're looking for. You take him at 19, we'll see. Mahomes is the new GOAT. He will surpass the cheater Brady with most Super Bowls, but he hasn't done it yet. Troy, Harry hating on Hurts, shake my head. Christopher, Facebook just gave me a warning about the quarterback from Tennessee. Laugh out loud. Troy, Hurts is a real manly quarterback, unlike that 12-year-old running back, teeny Justina Fields.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to Andrew. Cry, Eagles, cry. Joe, hello, Leo. It's Animal from back in the day. Hope as well. I will pass on that message to you. Troy, calling the show. Pete will cash app you $100 right now. The hell I will. Pig Dog. Sad to see Tom retire. Could you see the Bucs trading up to take one of the 2 top quarterbacks in the draft? No, I cannot. As much as a lot of people would be in love with the idea, it would take too much draft capital at the end of the day. Plus, there's too many teams that are ahead of the Bucs. So I don't see that happening. I think it's wishful thinking. Let's go out to Troy. Glad Brady retired. We don't need cheaters in the game. Joe says, Trask. Please, no Mayfield, says Bill Haydu. Sandra Nagel, former new agent here, probably my former agent after tonight's show, watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area, the Sports Web on Amped Up Sports. I love St. Pete. Great to see Leo. I couldn't say any more. It's called Retool. Roger says, bring back Testaverde nonsense.
This guy sucks.
Ralph, hi, Ruth. Okay, she's gone. Whoa, she's hot. Yes, she is, but she's also knows her stuff. Definitely tune in to 102.5 The Bone on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Roger. Ray is still recovering from last night. Troy, Ruth is my ex. Sorry, I broke up with you. Bucs hired trash. Ray Kennedy, Z. I don't know what that is. What are you sleeping? Ruth makes the show exponentially smarter. Hi, Ruth. Leo word there. Good stuff, Ray.
Oh, yeah.
No one wants Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley. You're exactly right about that.
Yes!
Let's go out to Troy here. Jacoby Brissett. It's been talked about. I'm just throwing it out there. With all the cap trouble that this team supposedly has at this point, which they cannot get out of. I mean, they're going to be able to get out of it. Bucs should go after Baker Mayfield, said Scott. He put up 51 points on Denver with a terrible LA Rams team. 102 touchdowns in his career, 64 interceptions. He's up and down. Peter, okay.
This guy sucks.
Tulio apparently has experience in the Andy Reid tree and Sean McVay system, so quarterbacks like Geno, Baker, and Drew Lock could be in the mix. Absolutely good stuff there. As always, Tulio. Woo! Let's go out to Ben Cornett. More Ruth equals more ratings. I agree. We'll definitely get her back on again. White is running back at number 1 next year. Agree with that.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Let's go out to Andrew. Rather have a nice beef brisket than Jacoby Brissett. That's actually good.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go out to Scott. Down Ben. Troy. Peter has the worst takes. Remember when he was saying Sandwich would be the next head coach? Troy, there were other NFL teams that were interviewing him. So once again,
that's great enough to suck right there.
Lee Jens says Andrew. Troy says Peter getting schooled by a girl. Roger, Peter hates Carr. Greek telling the truth. Not true. Russ says the Greek smoking crack if he thinks Trask should be the starter. Peter, you're right. Brissett is a solid option.
Ooh, yeah.
Thank you, Russ. Let's go out to Ben. Harry Berg opening up the skeletons with Peter hating on Derek Carr. Troy says, we hope you're staying warm in these cold streets, Ray. Please don't sleep inside the dumpsters. It's very dangerous. Andrew, not having Trask play the whole last game was a huge mistake because that's going to make a difference. I mean, one NFL game, guys, he has to overtake, in my opinion, Blaine Gabbert. And I didn't see that. And this organization basically told he wasn't going to overtake Blaine Gabbert. Bandit cameo, Troy again. Shut up, Ray. We want to talk to Ruth. Ben, well, Bucs did give Jameis 5 years to develop. Didn't end up working out. Other than that, the Bucs have never really developed a quarterback. Maybe Freeman, but can't think of anyone else they developed. They've never been able to develop a quarterback.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Bill Haydu says, isn't Evans on the last contract year? They have to get a vet. He is on the last year of his contract. It's going to be next year. He'll be a free agent. They're going to probably re-sign him, and they're going to probably restructure some contracts because if they try to trade him this year, it's a $21 million cap hit, and it's not happening. Not in my opinion. Pete, listen to your co-host. You're so wrong, and so are you.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to Christopher Cutsmith. Move Warps to left tackle. Put Luke Gedeke at his natural position at right tackle. I think that's a great idea.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Let's go out to Author. Everyone came for Tom. Yes, they did. But with that being said, Jason Light and this organization had to make those moves. They had to be able to structure those contracts in a way to where it would work. It can be done. Good comment, though.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go on to Scott. Get OBJ and Trask. We'll take the Bucs to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure about that. Let's go on to Roger here. Jason Lightbulb.
This guy sucks.
Roger, you can't turn the page on $55 million. Sure you can. Again, you can turn the page on it. They are paid as capologists. That's their job. Do you honestly think, Bucs fans, that they're going to go into the season and they're going to be in cap hell? Let's go out to Ben Cornett. Hate to say it, but I do agree with Harry. I always had a feeling there were issues between Tom Brady and BA. Yes, Arians had health issues too, but that maybe all the more reason he stepped down. Those health issues with possible tension with Brady could have made things worse on BA's health. We're actually going to hear from Bruce Arians live from the Super Bowl last week from our good friend Todd Grassley of Florida News Network. So we'll get to that interview in a moment. David says, to me, the biggest thing that turns the Bucs around, to me, it wasn't Brady or even Gronkowski or even Leonard Fournette. It's that we finally got a consistent kicker, because how many games did we lose because of missed field goals throughout the game? It was a combination of things. It was a combination that the defense was ready. It was a combination that the offense was ready, and they needed a quarterback to quarterback them to greatness. It was a combination of everything. It wasn't just Tom Brady. It was the defense. It was the offense. It was special teams. It was not making mistakes. Even when they started out 7-5, they came together at the right time. They deserved to win the Super Bowl. Let's go out to Author here. Todd is on the hot seat. He is absolutely on the hot seat. Good comment.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Roger trying to call in and getting voicemail. WTF. It's been a busy night. You can call in now. The phone lines are open now. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. And also the other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Ben says after Gruden, Here's the coaches and how long they lasted. Raheem Morris, 3 years. Greg Schiano, 2. Lovie Smith, 2. Dirk Carter, 3. Heck, Bruce Arians got 3. Even though he retired, the odds of Bulls being around for more than 2 years are very slim. Great comment.
How about them Bucs, baby?
My point exactly. Christopher Cole and put Hansey or someone else at left guard. Roger, this turned into a passing contest. Christopher, I think you meant pissing contest, but I'm going to go with passing contest because that's what you wrote there, genius.
This guy sucks.
Christopher, Glazers have a track record of firing coaches after 2 years unless they have an understanding. Good comment, Christopher.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Peter bringing the heat.
Flawless victory.
Absolutely bringing the heat tonight. David says it doesn't matter anything. They sat 2 years behind Tom Brady. Tom has been in the league for 100 years. How many quarterbacks sat behind him for multiple years that never turned out to be nothing? Brissett's one. Jimmy Garoppolo, they were okay. I mean, they had success. I get what everybody's saying. At the end of the day, you're learning under the GOAT, but you're also learning under Bruce Arians. You're also learning under Clyde Christensen. You're also learning under Tom Moore. And what have we heard from the reports? He's not able to overtake Blaine Gabbert. He's not able to process a playbook, which, by the way, you're changing. Those are my concerns. I have nothing against him personally. I just don't know what you got. And I'm not willing to take that chance. Do you know why? Because it always goes back to the line and Casino. Watch the movie. It's a great one. Remember when they're off and everybody? And he says at the end of it, Jimmy's a good guy. He really... he's been stand up, and the other guy goes, why take a chance? And he gets offed. He gets killed. Why take a chance at this end of the juncture? Why take it? Why could take a chance? You got a team right now that's still ready to win, that made the playoffs last year. Why take a chance with an unknown commodity? That has been my point. You could sit there and talk about Brock Purdy and Tom Brady, but those are anomalies in my opinion. That doesn't happen. Not saying it can't happen here. If it does, I guess it's a possibility for somebody that's never taken a snap consistently in NFL games. Let's see. Greek put up, we need Mayfield. Here he's spitting facts, says Roger. Salary cap goes up every year, so there's room to kick the can down the road and make adjustments during the period to get the cap manageable. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Jarvis Long here. They want a vet to keep their job. Can't take, so we might be stuck with a year of Trask. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. You got to go out to a vet. You think Trask is going to take you anywhere? Honestly, give me a win projection at this point. If you want to call in the show, tell me how many wins right now, just the way this team sits. How many wins do you think Kyle Trask is going to lead this team to? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Christopher Cole says BA's offense is difficult to learn. Bring in Kurt Warner as the quarterback coach. Don't know what that's going to happen. Brady is the first quarterback re-signed. Absolutely. You're correct about that, Jarvis. Good comment.
Flawless victory.
Preach, Peter. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Ben. I think Derek Carr either goes to Carolina or Indy. Certainly a possibility. How much money is he going to want? People assume $40 million. You can make the $40 million work. Just because it's $40 million doesn't mean it's $40 million this year. You see, that's the great thing about Jason Light and that administration over there. They know how to make those numbers work. If you're trying to tell me you can't spread out that $40 million in a way in the next couple years, you're mistaken, because they did the same thing with Tom Brady for the years that he was here. Let's go out to Kevin. Like I said, quarterback's the most important position in the NFL, and maybe we could find a needle in the haystack. We just have to play this game out. Exactly. Tell you what, ask for phone calls, get phone calls. Ben Cornett, welcome to the Evolution. Yours truly is on. What do you have to say about this whole conversation? First and foremost, what do you think about the hire tonight by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of Dave Canales?
I like it, Peter.
Okay.
I mean, listen, he's got 13 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's been around Russell Wilson. He got Geno to, play well this year. So, you can't beat experience.
Right.
I think that's something that's, going to go over well with whoever, the Bucs bring in, if they bring in somebody. And, maybe they don't. Maybe they go with Trask. I don't know. But I feel like this is a good hire in my opinion. So why not? I mean, they went to the playoffs this year. Seattle did.
Sure.
And plus, we played Seattle this year in Germany, so we kind of got a front row seat on what Canales can do. How he runs his offense. The defense. Our defense did well against that offense. So so we got a good look early on. Before we hired him. So I like the hire.
Let me ask you, confidence rating in Kyle Trask. Do you have confidence in him, and how many wins? Just the way this team sits right now. And again, they can make adjustments. I'm going to ask this question again if he is the starting quarterback going forward. In your opinion, if Kyle Trask starts right now, how many wins do you see the Bucs having?
Oh man, I probably about at most maybe 6, just because we got experience in certain areas that may sort of camouflage some of Trask's inabilities. Again, Trask is a young guy, but I mean he's not gonna. But if you have to go with him, I don't see how this team, even in a bad division, can win this division. I just, like you said, I'm kind of with you, Peter. It's because we haven't seen enough of him, and also if he was good enough, like we said, I called the other night. I said he didn't even beat out Gabbert. Like he didn't get enough snaps with the second team, even. So he didn't dress up until the final game of the season. So we don't have a lot on Trask now. You could talk about your Purdy's and stuff like that, but like you said, it's an anomaly. It rarely happens.
It's a great story, right? I mean, Mr. Irrelevant, but you're also helped by the fact you got Deebo Samuel. You're also helped by the fact that you got Christian McCaffrey. You're also helped by the fact that you got Kyle Shanahan. With that being said, are you confident in this coaching staff? I get it, you got Canales, but are you confident in Todd Bowles? Are you confident that he can develop a young? I don't know if I'm that confident in that. That's what I'm looking at.
No, and I've told you, Peter, a lot of times, like Todd's a nice guy,
right?
Very nice guy, very good defensive coordinator, but he just falls into that lovey Tony Dungy category where, he just can't seem to take it to the next level, and I don't see him doing that unless you get an Aaron Rodgers or something, which you're not going to get. But I think Tom Brady made him a better coach than he actually was. I mean, look, I don't think. Just looking from last year, the press conference, it tells you a lot about a head coach. What he talks about, how he, approaches the press conferences. I just don't see leadership in Todd. Yeah, I like him, but I don't see leadership.
I don't see it in it, and I get it. The Glazers have, they've done it right. They've given him the opportunity to have his own staff, which he should. I think at the end of the day, if you're going to ask me, they'll all say how great Kyle Trask is and how he works hard. But if their jobs are out there on the line, which I definitely think they are, they're going to go with somebody that's a known commodity instead of somebody that's not. That's not to say that he won't eventually start for this team, but I just have my doubts.
No, I don't blame you because, again, we haven't seen enough of. He didn't even dress up for pretty much every game last year except the last one. And that's, to me, that's a concern because, and I told you the other night, like he's a slow learner. He learned slow in high school and college. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you get to the NFL, when you're going to be following somebody like Tom Brady, which you can never duplicate, there's just not enough time, and right now this team is, like you said, they're in a winning position they could still compete in a bad division. Let's face it.
Yes.
So I think right now you got to see what you have this year by maybe going out there. Look, you're not going to get, like Harry said, you're not going to get Rodgers. You're not going to get Derek Carr, but you're certainly going to get somebody that could, Mayfield. I'm not big on him, but he's capable. He's won some games.
Sure.
Helped Cleveland to the playoffs. So, I mean, there's an option there.
Right.
I don't like Garoppolo because he gets injured.
I'm
sorry,
Jacoby Brissett, I mean, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions last year, 48-23. I mean, is that a guy you think? Gardner Minshew? I mean, these are the kind of names. I mean, they may not be the most attractive, but I'm buying into it that if they don't go with the big option, which is certainly a possibility, I just think in my heart of hearts, they're going to do everything they can to make this thing work. And I keep on going back to the comments from the Glazers saying, we won't let Tom Brady's experience and I'm just paraphrasing here because they said, we want this impact to be on our franchise forever. You're not going to rebuild. You're not going to go with somebody that's unproven. You're going to try to get the best that you can get. And I feel like Garoppolo, Carr, those quarterbacks at the end of the day, even a Rodgers, we haven't talked about. I don't think Rodgers is going to come here. I think that'll cost you way too much. He's known. He's gonna cost you a lot of money at the end of the day. Derek Carr, I don't think he's gonna get $40 million because he had a down year last year. His completion percentage went down, his interceptions went down. And I still think you're able, Aaron Rodgers, no. Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, I think those are your top. And then after that, then it gets a little bit shaky at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand people saying, well, we're $55 million over the cap, and that's true. Right. I mean, but again, the Saints have kicked the can down the road. They've seemed to make it work, although they haven't done well, but it's not impossible. I mean, I will say that, Jason Light he's had his good and bad, but we're going to really see, this is the test now.
Correct.
Without Brady.
Yep.
How good Jason Light can be as a GM. And again, the front office has made magic before financially. So
sure.
They're going to restructure, but yeah, they're not going to be big spenders because again, they're over that cap by $55 million, but it's not like it's a death nail. I mean, the team could still make some moves, but you're also going to have to restructure and maybe cut some people.
Sure.
So it's not the end of the world. That's how I look at it.
No, it's definitely not the end of the world. And again, I keep on reminding people that this was an 8-9 football team that underachieved. And a lot of these players don't need to be on this team in the first place. You're talking about Julio Jones, Keanu Neal, Logan Ryan. I mean, yeah, you've got some positions here. You can re-sign Jamel Dean. That's a player that I'm focused on. Will the Bucs be able to re-sign him? We'll see. He may price himself out. But that's a position that you can go into the draft. And we know that Jason's propensity, Leo word, is to draft a corner in those premium rounds. And it just happens to be a pretty damn good draft this year for having 3 or 4 corners in that first round. So don't be surprised that that's the position of need, especially if they lose Jamel Dean and, of course, a Sean Murphy Bunting.
Right. Yeah. Again, they are going to have to lose some players. That's just the way it is.
Sure.
You're not going to be able to sign everybody.
Right.
And listen, you got to find out too, though, Peter, who do you want to get rid of?
Correct.
Which position can you afford to get rid of? Not just financially, but as a team. Who can you afford to say, okay, well, you know what?
Can you afford to move on without Cameron Braid? I think you have to because you drafted Cade Otton, and you got to see what he's got. He came in last year. He showed flashes of brilliance. He also showed that he's still a rookie. So he's going to come into his second year. You got Cole Keep. You may have to address that position also in the draft. But Cam Braid, can you move on from him? I think you can. Can you move on from a Fournette? I think you can. I think the writing's on the wall when you draft somebody in the third round and a Rashard White. Was it second or third round? I think it was the third round. Third round, second round.
Third round too, yeah.
Third round, Rashard White.
Right. Yeah.
So you're gonna turn the page on him. Ryan Suckup. We already heard from Todd Bowles at the end of the season. He doesn't kick enough long field goals. We need to upgrade that position.
Yeah.
So and Donovan Smith, that's the big one. 15 to $18 million. I heard it's $18 million. For me, either restructures or you move on, and I think you may move on, and that again may be a position you go with the Taylor Lewan, who may be out there from Tennessee, or you draft somebody in that first round as a tackle.
Well, I mean, Peter, as far as Donovan goes,
yeah,
I don't care for him, but left tackles are just so hard to find with experience.
Well, I tell you right now, the way he played last year, I think you could be a left tackle. The play that he had, that was just inexcusable, being one of the most penalized players in the National Football League. And it was at the worst times, the most critical times, taking points off the board.
Yeah. No, Peter, you're right. I don't, it just, oh God, it's your blind side.
Yeah.
You got to protect. And I wouldn't be disappointed if we cut him. But at the same time, I'm just figuring out, dude, we're going to have to draft a left tackle. It's not easy to develop.
That's correct.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Catch-22. You're exactly right. Maybe you move Tristan Wirfs over to the left tackle spot and you draft a right tackle. It's probably easier to find a right tackle, a.k.a. a Tristan Wirfs at number 13, than it is a left tackle. Maybe you go in that position. I mean, would that be so bad? You you move over Tristan Wirfs at the left side and you go with the right tackle. I think that's where you could go.
Yeah, it's a very interesting scenario, Peter. I mean, Tristan has played that left tackle before, but he is a natural right tackle now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to, again, it's going to be so tough to, with that offensive line, who do you replace him? What do you replace him with?
Yeah.
And Jensen, hopefully next year we get the full healthy Ryan Jensen. That's going to be another key, So it can be nervous, but it's also an exciting time for the Bucs because you kind of don't know, but in a way it's kind of exciting. We just got to see how it plays out.
You're going to see how it plays out. Great stuff, Ben. As always, anything else here on the Evolution?
I enjoyed the show tonight. I was able to stay. I know, healthy debate.
Good.
Healthy debate.
Yes.
I mean, Harry, he stirs it up, but and Ruth was really good.
She's great, man.
Insightful.
She's absolutely great, and we're definitely going to have her on the show more. So I know she's easy on the eyes for all the people out there, so it's always a good thing for that.
She is.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
Very
that.
intelligent, though. She knows her stuff. Good stuff, Mr. Ben. Let me go ahead and give you the Ric Flair.
Woo!
Appreciate you. As always, use that second call if you like to, my friend, okay?
All right, Peter. Take care. Have a good night.
All right, good stuff there. Ben Cornett from Las Vegas. Let's go back out to this texting line here as people are trying to jump in. Appreciate it. I'm going to get to all your comments. Again, open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. If you can't get in on that line, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. So let's see here. Where do we leave off here? All right, Greek put up We Need Mayfield. Here he's spitting facts. Christopher, salary cap goes up every year. You can kick the can down the road. Absolutely make cap manageable. Jarvis says they want a vet. Oh, we read that comment. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Where did we leave off? All right. Let's go out to Christopher here. Saints were $75 million over the cap just last year. Absolutely. And where they are now, they're still in cap hell. But guess what? It didn't stop them from adding pieces. It didn't stop them from drafting. Everybody's like, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. It's going to be okay. Okay. Because you got faith in Jason Light in this organization. Bring in Brissett for veteran leadership. Agree that. Read the dang comments. Pay me for the freaking comments.
This guy sucks.
I mean, you are the most demanding person on this show, and you do absolutely nothing besides troll. That's all you do, bro. Seriously, it's all you do. Let's go out to Jarvis here. Jarvis, thanks a lot for tuning in. Think your first time here. Thanks a lot. Smith, Fournette, Gage can go. Absolutely. Those are possibilities. Russell Gage is another cap guy who could be gone too. Good comments, gentlemen. Yeah. I agree with you on that.
How about them Bucs, baby?
And this team needs speed, right? So you can't teach speed. Evans, not necessarily the deep threat, getting up there in age. Chris Godwin still coming off that injury. I think he'll be a little bit better, still having over 100 catches, but you got to add speed. You may do that in the draft. More than likely, you're going to do that in the draft. That's what you need to do. Brock Purdy didn't come in because they thought he was better. The other two quarterbacks, he came in because of injuries. Great stuff. David.
Flawless victory.
Let's go out to Jarvis. I don't believe in Trask also, but what choice do we have? You have plenty of choices. Don't just say you have no choice. There's always a choice.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Ray says, sorry I drove Ruth away. The show was so much more pleasant to look at while Ruth rocked the mic. You didn't drive anybody away. She had to go.
Ooh,
she had to
yeah.
I think Peter scared her away with the switchblade he pulled on everybody. That's nonsense.
This guy sucks.
No, it's not. Says, you know I'm right. A good show, bro. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Ray, as always.
Ooh, yeah.
Ray with the laugh. You know I'm right. Geno Smith isn't that great, but he was great last year. 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a Pro Bowler, comeback player of the year. If he's out there in free agency, a big if, maybe the Bucs sign him. We'll see. I don't think Seattle will let him get out, but we'll see what happens. You never know. I would rather have Trask than Geno Smith or Heineke. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know why you would rather have those players instead of Geno Smith. You got to be a dreamer, Peter. Otherwise, this world is all black and white. In the gray is where the good stuff is. You know I'm right. I would rather have Luke McCown than Geno Smith, and now you're just trolling.
This guy sucks.
Nobody wants Luke McCown or Josh McCown, who, by the way, became a coach for the Carolina Panthers. this week on that staff. So draft a cornerback at 19, certainly possible. They developed Doug Williams pretty good. Yes, one of the quarterbacks from 40 years ago? Yes, I remember the stories. They tell you that all the time. What else? What other quarterbacks did they develop in that time? Exactly. Let's go out to Ray Kennedy. Todd Grassley, that guy rocks. Absolutely. No hot seat. There is a hot seat. Kevin, I'm completely agree with there. Peter, I don't know if Trask is ready. Jarvis, 6 wins. Okay. Trask, 5 wins. See? 6, 5. We heard from Ben. He said 6. Is that the average? 5 to 6 wins? Ryan Fitztragic. Tulio, you guys mentioned Hooker earlier. His comparisons are to Geno Smith. I could see both happening for the present and the future. Dave, I don't know what that is, Dave. Thank you, Christopher Cole. Now I'm wondering who's his offensive staff is going to look like. Exactly. Of all the free agent quarterbacks out there, I wouldn't mind Minshew, mobile and has a strong arm. Good comment.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Has also played in this league before and had some success. Is he a franchise quarterback? I don't think so, but can he come in and be a stopgap? Absolutely can. Remember, we drafted Zion McCollum. Absolutely, you drafted him. He's got to learn how to tackle. He's got to improve on technique. He's got to get better in his second year because he had some rough patches in his rookie year. But you're exactly right. The reason why you drafted him is to take one of these spots. That's the reason why you're able to allow a Jamel Dean or Sean Murphy-Bunting, who is very inconsistent, but has shown flashes of brilliance. So it'll be interesting who they bring back and who they let go. Is there a chance Jensen gets traded? I'm not sure. I don't think you trade Jensen. I mean, he's definitely a big part of your offensive line. You could see that. Ben says if Carr wants to come to Tampa, I feel like we can make it happen. I like that comment.
Flawless victory.
Gage should stay. We'll see. We'll see what they make the decision on that. You know I'm right. I'm not trolling. I'm telling the truth. Geno's last season will be a flash in the pan, I swear. But it also may be the fact of his growth, his development, getting the proper coaching, which he didn't get, right? What organizations was he a part of? The Jets, the Giants. Never had the consistent coaching. Maybe the light turned on. People say the same thing about Alex Smith. What hurt Alex Smith? The changing of coaches, the changing of offensive coordinators. Now Geno had some consistency, and you see how it paid off. So we'll see. You know I'm right. Chris Godwin should have been comeback player of the year. He came back from a huge injury, not from being below average. Good comment.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Tell you what, let's go out to, once again, BA. Live from the Super Bowl in care of our friends from the Florida News Network and Todd Grassley. Here we go.
Top from Florida National News here with Coach Bruce Arians. Let's talk about, coming back home to Phoenix and what it's like being out here.
That's fantastic. We had 5 great years here and still a lot of home here, So we've got a little foundation event Saturday that we're putting on to help the kids here in the Valley.
Yeah, I mean, talk about your foundation. I know I was at your Tampa event.
Yeah.
I interviewed you. I interviewed your wife at Innisbrook. What it means to do, give back to this area as well.
Especially here. We started it here, and it means so much to us here. And to be able to help these kids in the Valley means so much to us. The kids who, their situation through no fault of their own, either neglect, abuse, and we try to help them out.
Talk about the event for those who might not know what it is.
We have a brunch at STK Restaurant in Scottsdale on Saturday, and a lot of guys come out to hang with and have a lot of fun. It's an Arians family deal. It's a fun deal, that. So it's going to be a great time. STK Restaurant.
It's not official, but Rondé was at your Ring of Honor celebration. Maybe he might be in the Hall of Fame. I saw him walking around.
I got my fingers crossed. I think this is the time.
But just talk about what hypothetically what that would mean, to see him after all that hard work and years, and a couple of years where he should have been in.
It's amazing. I mean, because when you look at the numbers, it's ridiculous. 200 whatever games in a row, 47 interceptions, 25 sacks. That's crazy. I mean, his numbers put him in, but he defined a new position in the league with nickelback. He defined that, and that's what teams went looking for. Rondé Barbers.
I know how much you meant to him, but what has he meant to you personally?
Oh, it's amazing. He's like one of my kids, and so it's so much. I can't put into words how much it means to me for him.
You babysitted him, right?
Oh yeah, yes I did. His dad and I were roommates, and we all started together.
Do you have a good Rondé story when he was a kid?
Well, Tiki was always in the damn hospital with convulsions, so he had that hot temper. So I'd always have Rondé bouncing on my knee.
Awesome. One last question. Your thoughts? Obviously, you spent time with Tom. second time he retired, Gronk was like, oh, we're in the 2-time retiree club. Well, what are your thoughts on Tom's legacy in the game? Obviously the greatest ever, and retiring from the sport.
You can't say enough superlatives about Tom as a player. I'm just saying he's a better human being and a better guy, and then just a great teammate. Can't say enough. The relationship was just fantastic. The 3 years to have those 3 years with him really helped Tampa Bay.
Greatest of all time in your eyes?
No doubt.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Coach.
All right, good stuff there from Mr. Todd Grasley of the Florida News Network, with BA, saying a lot of great things about Tom Brady, right? I don't know what to think, man. This guy's camera needs adjusted. He did a good job with it. Whoever's holding the camera, I mean, that's tough. You interview somebody, you're on the run, you're on Radio Row. I've talked about this before. It's like, being a salesman, car salesman, and trying to get as many people and your camera on your show as possible. And you have to make that time in order to do that. I remember being down in Miami at Radio Row and trying to distract Roy Jones Jr. so he could get on CBS Sports Talk Radio. And the first question I asked him, how come he didn't do Rocky Balboa? And he didn't give me much. And then I asked him again, and he didn't give me much. And by the time we got to the table, he was ready to go. And sometimes you're on that moment. You've got to make sure you're focused in and everything like that. Ask the correct questions, because they're not out there to get interviewed by you. They're doing their own thing. So you got to be as quick as possible. So great job by Todd there. Yes, the color's a little bit off, but that's okay. We appreciate it as always. Again, the other stories of the day besides that, I mean, we kind of talked about it. What quarterbacks would you like to see? How many wins do you think Kyle Trask will get you? Right now, we have 6, 5, and 6. Not very encouraging. I'll tell you that right now. Not encouraging. So I tell you what, we're going to wrap it up here. Thanks a lot to all the guests. Leo Haggerty, the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. Of course, Harry the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, and Ruth the Truth Caguias, who will be on 102.5 The Bone on Sunday morning at 11 a.m. And who knows, maybe yours truly will be on there. Let's go ahead and get these comments. 6 wins for Trask. Christopher Cole says 4. Good stuff, guys. We'll be back soon. If anything breaks with this Tampa Bay Buccaneer team, definitely tune in here on The Evolution. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web. YouTube chats are up, so give to the calls. Facebook stars are up. Like I Love St. Pete, Amped Up Sports, and The Hub. And do 3 things for me here on this happy
Hump Day
edition. After the breaking news of the night, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers hired their offensive coordinator, former quarterback coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Dave Canales. 3 things. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And fans of the Sports Web and Bucs fans out there, it's your time. Have a great night.